Hey, what's up, ecosystem? Jay at Auto Transport Intel here with the car hauling news. Listen, it's Tuesday nights live. I appreciate you coming back. I know it's a 2 hour show, so just keep doing your thing. Keep me on in the background, and I hope you stick around. I'll be right back. Hey, welcome back, everybody. Tuesday nights live, Auto Transport Intel. I'm Jay, your host, and I welcome you back to Tuesday night. Thank you guys so much for tuning in and joining me again on a Tuesday nights live. This is show 88 in a row. It's 88 Tuesday nights in a row live, starting at 9 o'clock Eastern, 8 p.m. Central, and you guys are with me again, and it means a lot. Now, listen, do me a favor. Bill of Bad Apples already has a tweet. He doesn't have a tweet. He's the live chat. You're in the live chat. If the audio's okay and the video's okay, it means a lot. Let me know, because I gave my crew the night off, and I'm running the show again for 88 shows in a row. The crew has the night off. So, it means so much that you're here with me, and I spent a long time thinking about the industry. What's it all about? What light can I shed? So we're gonna do that. We're gonna shed some real light tonight. So here we go. Here's the lineup. You guys know that I do the welcome car hauler, run it through, coming at you. That happens. Then we're gonna do the hello live chat. That's gonna start in a couple minutes here. And I love the live chat, and that's my screen over here, and I got you over here. All right. And then, the live chat takes a while, so it might be 20 minutes into the show before I get to industry news. So if you want to, if you're watching this on demand, you can skip the whole live chat part. But I'm telling you, the live chat, that's all good. Thank you so much. I'm so glad to hear that. The live chat is a big part of the show. It really is, and I hope that you're able to join us tonight. So what is car hauling news? So that's the topic tonight. We're going to talk about what is car hauling news. I mean, what kind of news would be news to you that you could use, that you would consider news that you need, right? So we're going to talk about that. What in the world is car hauling news? And then we're going to go into the car hauling news panel, assuming that I actually achieved that goal. Part one will be carrier rates and volume. We're going to have a couple guests. We're going to have Sue from Murphy Auto Transport with us. We're going to have Ron from NYC Traffic Inc. Both of those folks know a lot about searching load boards, looking at rates. I mean, we all know rates, but I'm going to talk more about load boards again, because then in part two, we're going to start, when we talk about car hauling business, we're going to back a little bit off of relying on load boards and talk about load boards and relationships. And actually, that brings me, I got a question of the day coming, so you'll want to stick around for the question of the day. You want to do that. So, yep, it's 8:05. It is time to do hello live chat. All right, Bill was first tonight. What's up, everybody? Bill of Bad Apples. Bad Apples Bill says, what's up, everyone? What's up, Bill? We appreciate you tuning back in on a Tuesday night. It means a lot. Ty says, hey, is this where you find auctions? Well, Ty. So Ty made a video, posted on Facebook today, talking about, so Ty was at an auction talking about, is this where you find cars? Is this where you can find the loads? and I'm reaching for my Kool-Aid. You know, I realized last show I went the whole show, without drinking my ELD Kool-Aid. What a mistake, I'm telling you. And so we're going to talk about that in part 2 of Car Hauling News tonight. What about the auctions? Now, Ty says, hey, what's up, Wild Bill? Because Bill is here. Ty is here. Hey, Ty, how goes it? Okay, I was told last show to stop reading all of the live chat. So I'm going to try and just skip down a little. But Bill does say, finally got my rig done and had a head gasket go. That sounds like a real bummer. That sounds like the car hauling business that I know. And so Bill said it was delayed. Okay, oh man, 5,000 set you back $5,000. Yeah, dude. Ouch. Well, we're glad you're with us, Bill, and we're glad that hopefully that the tough part is over and you get back running, because that's what we all need to do is make money, right? Hey, Wendy Gagliardo is here. Hey, what's up, Wendy? Welcome to the show. That's great. Awesome. Thanks for tuning in. The one and only is with us, part of the core. Thanks for tuning in, one and only. Trucking Answers, first time catching your show. Do you know where I can get business coaching? Come on, Mark. We know you're a kidder. By the way, you got to check out Mark at Trucking Answers. He's on YouTube every Monday, 1 o'clock p.m. Eastern. He's live, and then that's noon Central Times. Getting a text here, making sure everything's good. Yeah, actually, I just hit 5,700 subscribers today, and I'm sure as soon as I announce it, it'll plummet. So that's just typical. Thanks a lot, YouTube. Hey, what's up, you guys? Thanks for saying hello. WAF LLC says hello. Nice to be here. Well, thank you, WAF LLC. Thanks for not only showing up, but thanks for saying hello. It means a lot. It's really a lot more fun when there's more people piling into the saloon. Are you with me? M. Field says, hi, Jay. Marcus from Exclusive Luxury Transport in Las Vegas. Let's try that again. Hey, Jay. Marcus from Exclusive Luxury Transport in Las Vegas. Thanks for tuning in, Marcus. Appreciate it. Means a lot. Always a pleasure announcing your company and that you're here with us. Matt from Anytime Towing Vermont. Late, but here, just got settled into the loves in Texas. Great, because Matt's going to be on the show with us later. He's going to join us for part 2. Actually, he's going to straddle part 1 and part 2, because Matt not only books his own loads, but is also learning the ropes in car hauling. And we have another guest, Khris, from Khris's Garage. He's going to join us. He makes YouTube videos. So I got some fresh blood in the show again tonight, and it means a lot to have folks joining me on a Tuesday night. Matt is a super trucker. Amen. Hats off, dude. Well, thanks, Matt. That was nice. You know, you didn't have to super chat me like that, but of course I'll take it. I do appreciate it. It really does mean a lot. And thanks for contributing to the show. Anything I get goes right back into the show. You know, I'm at this desk all day long. This is where I'm at all day. Unless I'm getting something to eat or going for a walk, I'm here. Or playing Fortnite. Those are the 3 things I do. I eat, I go for walks, I play Fortnite, and then I'm at my desk. I'm on this phone. I make phone calls all day long, networking, talking to people, working on the next show, Facebook, and all the social media. I mean, you know, you guys, did you see the statistic? People spend a half hour on Facebook a day on average. For me, it's about half a day, I think, that I spend on Facebook on average. WAF LLC, what is up with Central Dispatch not able to do something about criminals posing as carriers and running away with vehicles without delivery? I just became a victim. Wow. Wow, tell me more. You know what? I'm not familiar with that story. Not that it doesn't happen. In fact, I think that Central Dispatch, if you were to add up all of the complaints, you would have quite a novel. But I'm speculating. Hey, that's just an opinion, although that is hearsay. So I'll tell you what, WAF, if you want to, you can send me. I'd like to talk to you more about it, maybe interview you for the show. You can send your information to me, autotransportintel@gmail.com. And I'm really curious to know more about what you got. Oh, Wendy says it's Wendy Byram. Gotcha, Wendy. Okay, I understand. Well, thank you for now because I didn't know, so now I do. I get it, Wendy. All right. Well, thanks for tuning into the show, Wendy. And if anybody has a clarification, please just type it along. Remember, I'm in the background right now. Listen, if you are busy doing stuff, you know what I do? Like if there's like a 30-minute plus YouTube video that I want to watch, oh, there's something else I do. I smoke cigars. So if I'm having a cigar, that's when I can consume a longer YouTube video. So if you're smoking a cigar right now, maybe you're working on the truck and you've got me on the old AM radio. I don't know if that's possible, but there must be an app for that. But the point is, just keep doing what you're doing, listen to the show, and then something will get your attention. Be like, okay, I'm going to listen to this part, but otherwise, I'm good. I'm just kind of hearing it in the background. No problem, really. Hey, Jay, stay loaded transport. Lamont says hello. Which, by the way, what I want to do is I want to start creating the show as a podcast so that you can listen to it while you're, jogging or rebuilding an engine or, whatever you're doing. Playing Fortnite. Joshua says, good show, brother. I learned a lot from you. That means a lot, Joshua. That's the whole point of this show. I really do appreciate it. I hope it's not just me talking into a camera. I know it's not, but I do really want people to get as much out of it as they can, because the point of this show is that the thought of it started, I was dispatching, and I was trying to learn more about the industry, and I found it difficult. The only thing I could really do was ask people questions or Google search. In fact, that leads me into part 1, which we're going to start up in about 20 minutes. So thank you so much, Joshua. I'll be under my trailer later tonight. See, there you go. Armadillo took out some wiring to running lights. Wow, that blows, dude. Well, I'll be here, and I'll have you on the phone in about an hour or so, so hopefully you can get the armadillo skin out before I give you a call. Andrzej Mordek, I found out about this show tonight from Bulldog. Great, man. Thanks for tuning in. Means a lot. Thanks for the shout-out, Bulldog. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. I also realize that not everything I say on this show is good news or representative of, it came up recently that this show does evolve because what we know evolves, and in fact what will improve our business needs to evolve because everything is changing so fast. So I hope you're on the ride with me, and I apologize, there could be a little turbulence. This is your captain speaking. Just hang on. Remember, there's a no smoking sign, which makes no sense because nobody's been able to smoke on this plane for years. But anyways, just hang on for the ride, and I hope to land this thing at the nearest airport location. Martha says, hey, great show. Is there a high and low season for car hauling? Well, yes, there is, depending on your running lane. So we're going to talk about that too. Trucker Daddy, jogging. Good evening. Yes, jogging. If this was a podcast, you could be jogging. But I don't have the podcast in yet. Hey, did you guys hear that Apple is splitting iTunes into podcast, music, and then TV or something like that? Found that interesting. Do me a favor and hit the like button, says Ty. Well, thank you, Ty. It means a lot. And hitting that like button does mean a lot. So I tell you what, we're going to get to industry news. Let's see. I did the show lineup. Yes, I did. And let's go into industry news. Why not? I'm sure I could use the extra 5 minutes. All right. So, I like to start with something, just take it easy, right? You mean to tell me that without truckers, America stops? Yeah, actually. Yeah, that guy you just cut off, yeah, he's got all the stuff you just bought. So thanks. Good, well done. Appreciate that. Saw a couple guys just the other day. They're in the fast lane, and they decide, they're not even exiting at the next exit. I don't know what the hurry was, but they had to get in front of the trucker that was in front of me and make him hit his brake lights and slow down. No, I don't care. It's a trucker, because I understand that, the trucker really doesn't want to be accelerating, braking, which, by the way, then the manager staring at his dash cam is like, breaker, you sure are accelerating and braking a lot. I think you're driving unsafe. Go ahead and pull around back, driver. Yeah, well, thanks a lot. That was because the guys in front of me weren't even exiting, but they said they had to get over real quick. So, awesome. So just take it easy on the truckers, okay? Uh, by the way, if you are getting into trucking, car hauling, dispatching, boy, especially if you're getting into dispatching, success is like an iceberg. This is what you see. This is what you. Not only this is what people say. This is what you see when when you're starting to get in. The gold bars and the well, it's basically everything is gold at the top. And then here's what you don't see. Here's what you're going to find out after the fact. This is what we're talking about on this show. This is the whole point of CTS Business Coaching, is to show you all the stuff under the iceberg. Because I know all the gold bars and the truck stop geniuses, it's all up here. But down here, this is the nitty gritty. This is auto transport intel. It's not all good, and I'm not here. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Clearly, okay. Jay, thanks a lot for sugarcoating it. Okay. With the rise of self-driving vehicles, it's only a matter of time until there's a country song where the guy's truck leaves him. It's probably true, actually. I'm gonna go with a yes on that one. Hey, by the way, you parked so close to me, I took the T off your Tahoe because you're an a-hole. That's pretty awesome. Even if it's not true, I don't care if it's a total ruse. It's hilarious. I do love it. But if it is true, dang, that's fly. I'm not saying I approve. I'm just saying you shouldn't park like an a-hole. Speaking of, okay, this is true. This is one man's journey into a car hauler. Now, the caption, I found this on Facebook. The caption was, and there you can see the dealerships in the background, and I believe there's an officer. The car hauler was unloading at a dealership, probably in Houston, probably on those frontage roads that are, right? They're scary. That's a scary, you got to get in and out. Can you sign my BOL? Because I got to get out of here before a maroon F-150 comes flying around the bend and just creams right into. I mean, really? That's necessary? That's how people drive. That's a true story. That really happened. And this, you're looking at it right there. That's crazy. And then here's the other side of that. And this was on Facebook. Now, the caption that I read was that this is the driver putting his story together. Now, obviously, that's pure speculation. But how do you explain this? He's on the phone. He's on the phone trying to explain that. Don't you hate that? I don't mean to laugh at the man. It's a bad day. Now, the CHP posted this on Facebook. How not to smoke sausage. Okay, now I'm gonna go with. I'm guessing that really is sausage. I don't know what else it could be. It's just hard to believe that. Would somebody really put their sausage up there? Smoking sausage is a process. Put the hanging or rack sausage. Are you freaking serious? So it's not okay. That's right. It's not just the drivers smashing in your car haulers, but also the carriers that want to smoke meat under their trailer. Okay, and then we go. This is only a week ago. Here's how you measure how fast the news cycle works. Remember this story? This seems like last month, which actually technically it was. But it was a week ago that a person was discovered in a vehicle's trunk at Mannheim Auto Auction. Now, I posted on Facebook and I asked the question, who checks the trunk? By the way, that Facebook post got shared like 50 times. Although the giant boulder in Colorado, no pun intended, that thing got shared like 100 times. It's amazing. These stories really are interesting. But here's what's really fascinating about this story. Person discovered a vehicle's trunk at Mannheim Auto Auction. You're thinking, oh my God, that's horrible. Until you see the next slide. Update. Police say man found a vehicle's trunk at Mannheim Auto Auction as a wanted felon. Oh, well. He was a felon. Okay, now I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is, right, now that you've got the update, it changes the original story. And actually makes more sense. In fact, then you're thinking, I wonder if the guy that put him in the trunk was the guy that took the T off the Tahoe. And then rammed his maroon F-150. Okay. All right, so now I know this isn't nice. I realize that. I'm not playing favorites, and I'm not trying to be, well, I suppose I'm trying to be a little funny. But whoever made this was definitely trying to be funny. Okay, here's the problem. The problem is, the reason I'm sharing this is this was on Facebook, and a lot of people liked it. Truck Driver Appreciation Week. We know that this is Road Check Week, and this is how a lot of drivers feel about Road Check Week, is they feel like it's just a giant beatdown. Now, I'm not saying it is. I also shared a video of a DOT officer explaining what they'd be looking for. But as a driver, here's the problem. It's hard to tell the difference between Road Check Week and Monday. I'm just saying. Right? I don't think I'm making that up. Here's another one. This one was really popular on Facebook. This is how the DOT see truck drivers this week. Come on. Okay, I mean, it's not as bad. Or maybe it's worse. I'm not sure. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this whole thing, but that guy is pretty funny. The guy's rocking it. Okay, so we've got regular people are crazy. Drivers smoking meats under the trailer. Questionable DOT operations, and now you've got, okay, so this is an actual sign at a freight pickup and drop off location, or no, is this at the, oh, this is at the scale. All right, well, anyways, look at stay in your truck. Always stay in your truck. Under no circumstance are you to get out of your truck. Oh, it's at the mill site. My goodness. It's just a mill site. My gosh. What do you guys got there? Nuclear weapons? Here's another one. Attention drivers, if you insult the person at the window, use any type of vulgar language, or try to start a fight with another driver, you will be expelled from delivering to this warehouse. Police, broker, dispatch, and supervise. Jeez. What kind of location is this? This is a real sign. Here's another one. Notice to all truck drivers, when pulling out of our facility between 8 p.m. and 6 a.m. All right, so 8 p.m. to 6 a.m., please accelerate as quietly as possible. The families that live across from our plant would greatly appreciate your cooperation. And I know somebody was asking, what families live across from your plant? Where is your plant located? Is there not commercial zoning in that area? Industrial zoning? Anyways, it is an interesting question. Very interesting stuff. Okay. So, okay, now here we go. Here's one for, this is, I think, a carrier and a broker exchange. Carrier says, sorry I missed your call. I'm on the other line. What can I do for you? Broker says, not smart to hang up on people giving you jobs. Never call me again. The land price is fair. Proceed exactly at spot based on miles. Carrier says, no sense in being rude. You know, it's amazing the language, or at least the feelings that go back and forth during the load booking, load asking process. It's kind of strange. Here's one. This is through the messaging system in the truck. DOT scale houses now have satellite links to your ELD, and they know exactly how many hours you have left. And if you're driving in compliance, heads up. Sent by Peter. Book at a... Well, alright, so that'll freak you out. Won't that freak you out a little bit? What is the point of pulling into the scale house if they already know? Well, that is the point, isn't it? Pull around back, driver. We already know what's on your ELD. Kind of freaks you out a little bit. I found that pretty freaky. I'm all for expelling those drivers. You know, that's the interesting thing is that How do I find it? Auto transportation company that will hire me with a 3-month-old CDL Class A. Ty put the phone number. You can contact Ty and see if he can help you with that. That's what CTS Business Coaching is all about, trying to help you find answers to questions. By the way, I want to say this. CTS Business Coaching does charge $100 an hour for business coaching. I realize that's not free, and I realize that's not cheap. None of us have any money laying around. It's just that, listen, if you are getting into any form of trucking business, when you think of the 50 grand, 100 grand you're laying out to get in this business, $100 is so little for somebody with so much experience. I'm just saying, man. We're not trying to insult anybody, but time is money, and you've already laid out a lot of money. There is a lot at stake. So hopefully CTS Business Coaching can help you, and hopefully that message makes sense. Now this is interesting, and also I was going to say this, Mark. I realize these slides that I'm sharing, this is all from Facebook. It is interesting, and you can, from one thing to the next, you can agree or disagree, and I really actually like to hear what your opinions are. Like, if you think that driver should be expelled for those things, that's important, which would explain the signage. It's just that I think some signs get shared because it's hard to understand exactly what's happening. Part of doing this show it's not that this is all just a genius laid out format. It's not. But these are things that come up in day-to-day business, and we need somewhere to talk about it and try and help understand what's going on. There's so much happening all the time and so much misunderstanding that there has to be a source. That's why you have Trucking Answers. There has to be a place where people can go to understand more, so that when they encounter this stuff, they realize the mistake they made in advance. And hopefully they don't make the mistake. CDL expired in 1995. You would think that you would know. You would think you would know that that's not going to work out. But you know what? You never can tell. Let's see here. I hate it when the slide stops. All right, let's do this. Let's go like this, and let's go to. By the way, you guys know about Waze? You download the app Waze. It gives you live updates on cop locations, traffic flow, and hazards. Waze is a pretty interesting app. And you can report stuff and then get points. I never got that far, but I did find it interesting. I thought it was a really good app. That ELD sat link is not true yet. Okay, it's interesting because Peter posted it on the internal messaging system, and I wasn't sure if it was, but right, that makes sense, doesn't it? In fact, the more I think about ELD, the more I realize that all this stuff that we want the FMCSA to do, they're just going to do whatever they had in mind anyways. I mean, they can have listening sessions. I'm speculating. This is an opinion. But the ELD, really 2017, when the ELD mandate started to be in effect, right? Before that, it was all just, it's going to happen. 2017 is when it started. I think 2017 is the shift when we realize that all of these telematics are really starting to affect our processes. I think that ELD really rang in. ELD 2017 really rang in the digitization, electronification of the way we're going to be doing business as the future unfolds even quicker. 2005, somebody shared it on Facebook. 2005 was when an atlas was your app. Your app was an atlas map. Does anybody use an atlas map anymore? I mean, really, like maybe sometimes, but you don't use it to actually get everywhere you're trying to go, do you? I don't think so. It's cheaper than a car on Central, well, nearly well worth it. New app I came across, Trucker Sky. I'll have to check that out, man. Thanks for the tip, David. That's cool. I appreciate it, and I appreciate you joining the show. Found that interesting. Just thought I'd share it. I'm guessing it'll be a problem for somebody. FMC, there we go. FMCSA sets June date to publish its proposed hours of service changes. Will it be much? I mean, the proposal to the listening session to the government moves so slow. Actually, that's the one thing that's probably going to help us in this acceleration into autonomous trucks, is that the government is so slow that the autonomous trucks could be here ready to go. But the government be like, well, let's see here. Now, I realize that might be in opposition to what I just said, but what I am saying is that ELD marks the beginning of the electronification hashtag. Thanks very much. Thanks at any time. 2 months experience. Okay. By the way, speaking of agendas, the driver shortage. Do you guys believe there's a driver shortage? I don't know. I don't think that makes any sense. Because if rates are down and supply is up, how is there a driver shortage? If there was a driver shortage, wouldn't rates be up? It doesn't make sense to me. Somebody please explain that. But anyways, I think that the driver shortage story helps whatever agenda it is here to push the fact that now we need to accept military folks that are under 21 and now be truck drivers. I don't get it. I don't get it, and I need someone to explain it to me. But this is good news. Here's a guy hiring a car hauler, 9 car wanted, start immediately. There's a couple phone numbers for you if you're looking for work. Let's do this. And I've read arguments on both sides, that there is a driver shortage, that there's not a driver shortage, that there is a driver shortage, that there's, and back and forth it goes. I mean, really, what is going on here? Is it a reality show? I think it is. Now, this is my final slide here in industry news. 50% off ACV transportation on all moves. Now, let's think about this for a second. ACV auctions, you've seen them post loads on Central Dispatch. And yes, Ty and I, we talked to a lot of people. We've also talked to ACV. And I'm also going to show a video from their YouTube channel. Now, ACV represents how one of the ways this industry is changing. Because rather than having that, if you're a dealership and you get that trade in on that 2014 Jeep Commando, and what are you going to do with that thing? You just want to get it off the property, get it to the auction, sell it, and turn that into, you want to free up the space, get the money. So you're a dealership. So then you hire a broker, hires a car hauler, takes that car to the auction. Good for the car hauler, good for the broker, bad for the dealership. Car goes to the auction, runs through the running lane, doesn't get sold, gets sold, whatever. Good for the auction. It's got to get moved again. Good for the broker, good for the car hauler, bad for the dealer. So companies like ACV will now allow the dealership, using ACV's free TMS and mobile app, I believe it's a mobile app. It's an electronic inspection app. To the dealer, goes out to the lot, and just as soon as that 2016 Jeep Commando ends up on the lot, he goes out back, takes photos, does the inspection, throws it up on the free ACV TMS, and now the car can get posted for auction right from the dealer's lot. Bad for the car hauler, bad for the broker. How's it affect the auction? The auction adapts. The auction still gets money off of the bidding process by making sure that all of the folks bidding on that 2016 Jeep Commando can do it from their desk, from their car, while they're jogging, having a cigar, playing Fortnite, whatever. It's actually better for the bidder. Who loses in this situation? The car hauler and the broker. So, in this situation, ACV says 50% off all moves for the dealer. So they're saying to the dealer, half off on all the moves. That's a lot of power to give a 50% discount on all moves. Now, this was, I think the offer started May 29th and ended May 30th. So it's a pretty short amount of time. But that's a lot of power. That has to be recognized. If you do not recognize the amount of power that ACV Auctions has in this situation, you are going to miss out on whatever happens next. Because if you go to the auction or the dealership and want to move their 2016 Jeep Commando, guess what they're going to say? Well, we don't need that. In fact, we already sold it. What do you mean you already sold it? It's still sitting in the lot. Yeah, well, we use ACV. We'll use their free TMS. We'll use their free mobile app. Huh, I didn't know that. Well, that's a shame because we're going to do that with the next 100 cars. Oh my gosh, what happened to my business model? And that's what we're talking about tonight. That is what the car hauling news is all about. I'm not trying to scare you. I just want to make sure you know what's going on. That's what car hauling news is all about. So, let's do this. I'll tell you what. I am going to show you something that Brian Riker wants to tell you about DOT compliance, and I'll be right back. Hey guys, Jay at Auto Transport Intel here. Listen, don't wait until it's too late to get FMCSA and DOT compliant. You need to take care of that right away. The best way to do that is to go visit my friend Brian Riker at Fleet Compliance Solutions. Now, you can go to Fleet Compliance Solutions LLC, or you can also visit him at yourdotguy.com. And here he's got services to help you out, whether you're a single owner operator or a fleet. You can contact him and ask him for, you can get US DOT compliant, applying for your authority right off, or if you're going to be audited, you're going to need help. And he helps you make sure that you navigate the DOT and be fully compliant when you're going through your safety audit. Also, he can help out with safety training, coaching, OSHA, environmental concerns, help you protect your CDL. You can visit him and his staff. Go to fleetcompliancesolutions.net or yourdotguy.com. Talk to Brian. If you need an expert witness, if you're going to end up in court over a problem, you're going to need some help, and he can help represent you. There are links here. Find out more about Fleet Compliance Solutions. And also, he's got articles and information. If you've got specific questions, you can contact him at 570-228-6210. And I highly encourage you to visit Fleet Compliance Solutions LLC, yourdotguy.com. Tell him ATI sent you. Brian is a friend of the show. Thanks. Okay, so welcome back to Auto Transport Intel. I'm Jay, your host. This is the Car Hauling Business Channel. So we're going to talk about car hauling news, all right? So I created this graphic here for you, shipper, broker, carrier. Now, if you are a busy car hauler, you already know this, okay? And by the way, where did the dispatcher go? Okay, well, I'm going to explain that, okay? So take it easy, everybody just settle in, get your Kool-Aid, right? Get your ELD Kool-Aid. Now, why does Jay drink ELD Kool-Aid, by the way? Well, listen, with all the stress of the job and the fact that I don't, but you do. In fact, whether you're in your truck or you work at a company, you have an ELD egg timer that tells you what to do, right? It may as well be an egg timer. I mean, I understand it has a bunch of whistles and gadgets, and I also understand that I'm friends with some ELD providers. I mean, and you can't blame the ELD. You blame the hours of service. It makes me crazy, and that's why now Jay says, why does Jay say blame the hours of service? Well, listen, you in this business, shipper, broker, carrier. Let's start with the shipper, and then I'll kind of get back around to the ELD thing. Believe me, I like to kind of, I like to follow the tornado all the way around, okay? All right, so let's get this thing going. All right, shipper, what's a shipper, okay? And I know you're going to know some of this, and that's why keep me in the background. Stay with me because there will be something new, I promise. All right, but if you are researching this business and or let's say you are a shipper, all right? A shipper is, all right? And by the way, when we talk about the market, we got new cars, we got used cars. New cars are OEM, used cars, secondary aftermarket, right? Okay, not rocket science. None of this is rocket science, but it is information. New and used. You also have an open and enclosed, right? Open carrier and closed carrier. Now you can have cross section of any of those. You can have an enclosed new, you can have open used. Anyways, my point is that you do want to know your market. You want to know where in the market you plan to be. If you're a new car hauler, if you're starting a new car hauling business, you're probably going to start with open used, right? You're not going to start with OEM enclosed right off the bat. You could, but if you are, you probably know somebody or you work for somebody, okay? Right? Or you're working for a company. All right, so a shipper has the vehicle that needs to get moved. All right, easiest case would be a residential move, or a dealership that needs to move a car, that needs to move that 2016 Jeep Commando. Okay, that's your shipper. Or it could be OEM. It could be a new car plant. Could be a railhead. Could just come in off the port, right? Maybe it came into Jacksonville or Long Beach or Newark. Right? And that's a new car that came overseas. That's OEM, right? So the shipper is the company or person or location that needs a vehicle moved. Why does the shipper go to the broker? That's what so many carriers want to know. Because who actually moves the car? The carrier does. But here's the problem. If a shipper, let's say Hyundai, shipping in all these cars, makes a deal with a carrier, and that carrier is strictly a carrier, not a broker, how's that carrier going to be able to be ready to move all those vehicles? Some of those vehicles are going to need to get brokered to other carriers. Now, this is why you have broker carriers like United Road. United Road has trucks, lots of them, and they move their own cars, but they also post loads on Central Dispatch. You've seen United Road loads posted on Central Dispatch. They also have their own load board. So you want to know, if they are a broker carrier, you want to know them, you want to be nice to them, you want to meet them, and you want to haul for them. You want to be a sub-hauler. So I know that a carrier wants to work direct for a shipper, but really, at some point in there, there's going to be brokering. Now, what's happening, and the reason I'm talking about this, is the broker is starting to turn into an app. Now, that's new. It's very new. In fact, it's so new it's happening right now, or it's happening next week, next year. There probably aren't many carriers that use brokers as apps today, although you could say Ratloads One Dispatch. Now they're a broker, but that's an app now. A load board technically is a broker, which is why when you have a complaint against a load board, who do you complain? Who's the broker? Which actually is interesting because load boards actually have brokers posting on load boards. All right. So shipper, broker, carrier. Now where's the dispatcher? The dispatcher is the carrier. The dispatcher works with the carrier, just like brokers have dispatchers too. Did you know that? Did you know that's why so many people, when you talk to a broker and you say, "Hi, I'm a dispatcher," well, you don't say that. What happens is they say, "Are you a dispatcher?" And you say, "Yeah, I am a dispatcher." And they say, "Yeah, I don't like that." You know why? Because brokers have dispatchers too. And the language gets confused. So are you a broker dispatcher? Are you a carrier dispatcher? Shippers don't have, well, actually shippers do have dispatchers too. So it gets pretty confusing. That's why there's no need to put dispatcher in this triangle, because the dispatcher works for one of these companies. Just like I didn't put lead generator in this triangle either, because the lead generator is really, as far as the shipper's concerned, they're the broker. And that's part of the problem. That's one of the things that makes this all so confusing, is that if you're the shipper, now if you're Hyundai, you're not Googling brokers, okay? And that's actually why OEM, the new car space, is a lot tougher to get into, because it's a lot smaller game. How many OEM shippers are there? What, 50 or less? You know, if you add up all of the car manufacturing companies and then maybe some of the 3PLs, third party logistics companies on their behalf, maybe it's 100 or less. Maybe. So the OEM space is smaller, harder to get into, but possibly more regular. Because when you get into the used car space, it's a lot of speculation. In fact, a lot of shippers in the used car space don't know who to pick as a broker. So they go on to Google. I'll bet you there are dealers that are going on to Google. And they type in car shipping. They type in really cheap car shipping or best in the universe car shipping or whatever. And then out spits about 1 million results. Don't know what to pick. You just take a shot in the dark. And guess what? You end up with a shipping calculator or a lead generator, and it's not a broker and it's not a carrier. You end up with a broker or a carrier, but it convolutes the process. So, again, in its simplicity, shipper, broker, carrier. I mean, those really are the three sections. Now, again, as technology moves forward, can technology get rid of the shipper? Well, maybe. No. I mean, somebody needs, although, see, that's the thing. Here's the really weird part of this journey, is that as technology moves forward, first it's the brokers that are going to start getting cut out. But when we get into autonomous trucks, now the carriers. Now, and I don't want to freak you out. This is some real science fiction here, Jay. I mean, you got to be nuts. Okay. The thing is, broker apps, that technology, that's happening in the near future. Carrier, autonomous trucks, that's in the far future, 5 to 10 years. You add the government, it's 10 years. Shippers, what happens if the cars drive themselves? Now, right, car shipper agrees. Car shipper is working on the first part. Car shipper is developing an app that will essentially cut out the broker. Now, a broker can still use car shipper in the meantime, just like, it takes time for processes to adapt. But look at what Convoy is doing in the freight market. Although here's what's really interesting, and this is also what makes it take a long time, is that there's cracks in the system. There's going to be bugs in the machine, in any machine, right? Or speculation or people that don't know about it. And actually, that's part of my goal, is to help. Then I welcome you on Auto Transport Intel so we can get the information out to people. Because honestly, what we really want, and listen, me and Ty, I'm not trying to just have a great time and create science fiction, although I am talking about it. Because the people that I talk to, some people freak me out with what they say. And me and Ty, we kind of wring our hands about it, and we want to be open about our hand wringing and bring it to you, so that you're not listening to some guy at a truck stop talking about gold bars falling from the sky, how dispatchers are going to make you rich. By the way, it's not that. Listen, I'm not bashing dispatchers. Dispatching it's a very difficult service, but it's not necessarily a business model. You wouldn't hire an accountant and then kick back and say, well, I'm going to get rich now that I got an account. Nobody does that. That is not going to happen. All right, so shipper, broker, carrier. Here's a question. Does a load board need to be registered as a broker? Isn't that such a good question? Thank you, Ty. That is an awesome question. Because that actually, I think this is where we start to see the cracks in central dispatch. And maybe Cox Automotive and Dealertrack realize that actually as this gets more, as people try to nail this thing down more, maybe the load board thing isn't as simple as it looks. I don't think it is. And that's why I'm really looking forward to some folks coming out with new and improved load board technology. Some of those people I've talked to, some of them I haven't talked to yet. So if you've got something that you think is going to help improve business models in the future, because ultimately, right now, this is car hauling. This is auto transport, okay? And carriers those are the folks that, which, by the way, I want to tell you something. I'm going to show this video here real soon. Carriers are It's well known. Carriers already know they're underappreciated. All right, carriers know it. And you know what's interesting? You know what I'm finding out? The more I talk to executive level folks in fleets, they also understand that what they say to each other, the carriers are really important. Finding good drivers is not that easy. And this is actually one of the reasons why when carriers say to each other in Facebook, don't take cheap freight, guess what? They really mean it. Don't take cheap freight, because if nobody takes it, it sits there and the rate has to go up. It has to, because if the shipper can't get it moved, then what good is anything? I mean, you can't just let it sit there. Can't crack jokes in a text the same way. I know, isn't that funny? That's the funny thing. I make them laugh and they pay more. I tell you what, and that's the thing. As a dispatcher, I think that's what frustrated me. As a dispatcher for a carrier, as good as I got at the process, I still couldn't make my carrier rich. I couldn't live up to what he had hoped. It was very frustrating. And actually, this is the bad news. I think it's getting harder. I think that rates are actually dropping. I think that volume is dropping. I think that there are more carriers than there were before. And I'm not sure exactly what happens next. But if you don't know about newer business model like ACV Auto Auction, here, let's check this out. Let's do this. All right, let's go to my next. Here we go. Let's go to this. Okay. All right, now, is it too small? That's okay. All right, so there's this article. All right, Ty showed this to me. The rubber doesn't have to meet the road. Why we're investing in ACV auctions to transform the $15 billion wholesale used car market. All right, and this is, okay, 6 months ago, 3-minute read. So, you know, gosh, when I was thinking, one of the things going, look at this, $93 million Series D investment in ACV Auto Auctions. That's no joke. All right, that's a lot. That's a lot of money. I know you can't read that. I'll tell you what, here's what I want to show. And as I bring this up, think about what Carvana is doing. Right? Which, by the way, check this out. Here's something interesting. Who knew this one? Here, let's do this. Let's go to, boom. Anybody else know about carsreload.com? Carsreload.com. How new is this? Now, I just saw it. I just saw this posted as a news story. Here, let's do this. Let's go to... See, I'm the crew, so I can do this. All right. Boom. All right. Now, this is news, by the way, right? This is all car hauling news. We're still doing car hauling news. And then pretty soon, we're going to bring in Sue and Ron, and we're going to start talking about rates. But why did Cars Arrive create an auto relocation webpage? Because, well, why? You fill that in. Why does Cars Arrive do this? Everybody's business model is changing a little bit. It's very interesting, actually, that this would happen. By the way, I want to show you this. Check this out. Here, let's go back to this. Watch this.
Focus on the different types of assets we have in our operations. Certainly, the company trucks, very, very important to what we do every day. I think that certainly it's an issue, but I'm not so sure that it's the biggest issue that's out there. Some of us have available existing equipment, and tractor and trailer manufacturers do have additional capacity today. So as long as there are folks that have the adequate financing and the contracts and the will to invest, the assets are available. Indeed, United Road is going to be spending $45 to $50 million on assets in 2014 alone, continuing a trend of investment. But I think what concerns me and others in car hauling, what I think should concern everyone in this room, are the human assets, our human resources, and whether or not we're going to have enough of those professionals to meet the continuing demands of our OEMs and others in this industry and the remarketing side and otherwise. So really, I think the biggest concern we face is a shortage of professional car haulers. And I could say driver shortage, but that wouldn't be accurate. Car haulers are absolutely a different breed. They're just so much more than drivers. And yes, they're responsible for navigating big rigs down the road, 80,000 pounds, soon hopefully 88,000 pounds if we get the support that we're hoping for. And they carry cargo that is valued between the truck and the cargo anywhere from $500,000 to $1 million at a time, extreme pressure. But these professionals are also craftsmen, they're car lovers, they have specific geospatial and problem-solving skills, they're customer service reps, they're caretakers, they're agile climbers, and they're very comfortable with technology. These are finely honed skill sets that you can't find in a driver that just bumps a dock. And they are in very short supply today, and that really should matter, I think, to everybody in this room. So let me just offer a few numbers. 50, 49, 46, 51, 48. Those are some of the answers I got when I asked car haulers in the room last night, what's the average age of the professionals in your fleet? I mean, if I look around the room, how many of us who will admit to it are over 50, right? If you think about the work that this entails.
Okay, now listen, I think this is a great clip, actually, and that's why I played it. I'll tell you what, this is Kathleen McCann of United Road. I believe she's the president of United Road, and I want to show you also that this is posted by Automotive Logistics. Okay, this is on their YouTube channel. I want to give them credit, Automotive Logistics on YouTube, and they've got a lot of videos of different conferences. And actually, I've reached out to Automotive Logistics, and I hope to bring you more information from them. But the point is that Kathleen is saying something. You guys know this. You guys know that car hauling, wow, well, car hauling is not a simple business. And to hear the president of United Road want to call attention to a room of executives, everybody in that place is wearing a suit and is an above the line executive of a company. And what she is saying to the room of executives is, think about what it takes to be a professional car hauler. All of the aspects that go into, it's not just the driving, unloading, loading, but understanding the space that you've got available, understanding the time, fighting a freaking egg timer, worrying about a guy in a maroon F-150 smashing into your ramps while you're trying to unload your car at a dealership that didn't even consider how it was going to get inventory. Right? I mean, this is a really tough job. And, you know, one of the things is, we have 39 drivers and only 5 are actual drivers and all are over 50. Right. I think, in general, if you find a seasoned car hauler, yeah, he's probably over 40, right? I mean, really seasoned, wizened, like wizened like a prune. No, I really, United Road is trying to get a contract with ACV. That's really interesting, Carlos, because we heard the same thing. Oh, man, that's fascinating. I'll tell you what, let's roll that clip. Let's do some ACV. You guys ready? Let's go back to bang.
Historically, buying and selling wholesale vehicles is time-consuming, expensive, and loaded with risk. With ACV, our 20-minute online auctions provide immediate access to thousands of dealers who are ready to buy.
I have found it to be the most convenient and profitable way to wholesale vehicles. They've kind of changed the industry, and I think everyone else is now playing catch-up.
I trust ACV wholeheartedly. My sell-through rate with ACV is at this point about 90%.
The ability to get on board with ACV was extremely easy.
Our inspectors complete comprehensive condition reports right at your dealership. From engine fluid levels and OBD2 scans to paint meter readings and tire tread depths with tons of high-res photos. Our condition reports take the guesswork out of wholesale.
It's more accurate because there's a lot of mechanical information that's provided from the VCI, and they're very competent when they're providing that information.
I can't even trust the physical auctions condition reports anymore because I'm so, spoiled with the condition reports that ACV provides.
I think ACV Auctions gives us as dealers the most complete condition report of all auctions I have dealt with for the last 20 years.
The ACV team comes to your dealership, inspects the vehicles you'd like to sell, and loads them into the app, and you're selling vehicles in no time. There are no fees for running a vehicle that doesn't sell, and you don't have to worry about transportation to a physical auction.
I can sell a truckload of cars pretty much in about 15 minutes, which I've never been able to do in this industry ever.
With ACV, it's allowed us to turn the wholesale inventory over and just keep it flowing through.
I prefer to sell all my cars on ACV rather than going to a traditional auction because it takes me a whole day to go to a traditional auction.
Here's how ACV works. First, sign up with your local territory manager and meet your team of vehicle condition inspectors. Have these VCIs do full condition reports of the vehicles you'd like to sell. Using the website or mobile app, launch your 20-minute auctions. If your car sells, ACV handles the rest. It's as easy as that.
One of the vehicles I sold, I launched during the halftime of our Patriots football game, and the vehicle sold for a premium price, well above our reserve.
The app is really easy to use, and I've actually saw guys at the auction using the app while they're in the lane.
You know, I usually go to bed and the next morning I'll wake up and I'll have 3 or 4 cars sold. So a lot of the cars that are sold to me are done when I'm sleeping.
The ease is worth its weight in gold. I mean, there's no doubt about it.
Our dealership is in Central Florida, and at first I thought that I would just be attracting buyers in this area, but come to find out, some of our vehicles have been bought out west and even as far as Syracuse, New York.
I have not done a bid sale since starting with ACV, and I never will.
It's about as easy of a system that you can get.
You guys got to try them. I'm living proof. I'm a real guy. If you want to give me a call, you can call me at the dealership.
I think that the people at ACV do a great job.
I would definitely recommend ACV Auctions.
The results are quicker and faster.
I think more dealers should get involved in it.
As long as you guys are here, I'm using it.
This makes my life easy.
See how ACV can work with your dealership at acvauctions.com.
Okay, so that's ACV Auctions now. Does anybody get the idea that dealers are way ahead of brokers and carriers as far as where this industry is headed? I mean, if you think of Carvana, and then like TrueCar and CarMax and Easy Peasy Car, whatever, it's almost like already at the dealership, they're trying to figure out how to turn the process into Uber Eats. And they are already marketing to customers this Uber Eats level of car buying, which is called car subscription. Man, it's crazy. It's like Carvana easy peasy. It is. I'll tell you, man, we gotta get up to speed. And that's really what this car hauling business channel stuff is really about. Like, I hate to say, I don't want anybody to get woke, but man, I think it's about time we get us some woke. You know what I'm saying? How about here's some woke.
Assertus, relentless drive to deliver. Introducing a free TMS platform that saves you time, money, and hassle, and gives you visibility and insight into your business. With Assertus, there are no license fees, no software fees. This is a free software solution that's simple to use. How simple? Think of it as a one-stop shop to get a quote, place an order, and track the status of all your orders in real time. You'll see routes, updates, dispatcher comments, and cost per week. With direct access to all your data and greater visibility, your vehicles can move more quickly. And we're online to keep you informed. Just call, email, or chat 7 days a week. The more you partner with Assertis, the more we'll customize your platform. It's a completely scalable system. We can add custom modules, pre-populate locations, and build simplified workflows to make your process more efficient. And we'll always work to integrate with your existing systems. Managing your moves has never been easier. Assertis. Let us save you time, money, and hassle, and give you visibility and insight into your business. Assertis. Relentless drive to deliver.
Okay, now, all right, now, wait a second. Who knows who Assertis is? Do you guys know who Assertis is? You know, we're hitting all the big load boards. You guys do know that Assertis is Metrogistics, right? Assertis owns Metrogistics. Anybody know what it's like to negotiate rates with Metrogistics? I'm sorry. Have I raised a sensitive issue? Do you guys know what it's like? Because when they post loads, they got them down to the decimal, and that is not speculation. So how do they have loads down to the decimal, but they got this free TMS and easy peasy for the dealer? Who's paying for all this, man? Because, by the way, remember that ACV ad where they said 50% off all transportation? I saw there was another company that was saying, hey, dealers, they didn't call it, hey, dealers, there's no transportation fees today? Shoot, how about this one? Let's do backlot cars. Here you go. Here's your plug. I know you guys were looking for one. Here you go. Blah, 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 blah. Oh, here we go. 45-day float. What's that? Just apply now. Here, you don't need to pay now. Shoot. That car hauler doesn't need his money now. What, are you kidding me? Let's float it. Right? You guys wonder why it's so hard to get paid, 30-day pay and all this stuff? Because there are too many companies telling the dealer, hey, man, tell your buyer whatever you want. Tell them it's Uber Eats. Tell them there's fries in the front seats. Oh, my gosh, man. It's crazy. We got to know this stuff so that when we go up here, when you go sifting through the dumpster and you start looking for loads. By the way, and this is what we're going to talk about next. You know, one of my favorite routes used to be Michigan to Texas. All right, let's check it. Let's go ahead and check that old Michigan to Texas. Now, on a 1 through, I don't do all. How many of y'all look for all? Not many. Let's do, what's the point of even 7 days? That thing will cancel. Let's do 3 days, 1 hour highlighting on top. Never forget to do that. All right. Now, this used to be, come on, Lucky Sevens. This used to be my Gold Bar Central. All right. My Gold Bar Central. Let's do that. All right, let's see what we got here. 56, 59, 59. I'm looking at the cents per miles, ladies and gents. There we go. 59. Let's go back to the top. Okay, that's not a car. Okay, that's an in-op. Oh, it's going to Lubbock. Dude, we're not going to Lubbock. Not going to... Oh, and it's double listed. Yay! Not going to Lubbock. Look at this guy. 56 cents to Lubbock. Okay, Houston 56. It's used. What this? Oh, look, it's double listed. It's because there's nothing to go with it. Okay, well, here's Detroit to Dallas. A truck for 59 cents a mile. Really? On the money leg? I don't think so, man. San Antonio's good, but not 2 for 55 cents a mile. Even if it is each, which it is. 52. Okay, I hate these listings. 4 trucks, 52 cents a mile each. fine, it's going to El Paso. That's OEM, bro. OEM trucks at 52 cents a mile? Come on. No way. You got it. You know why? Because by the time it gets here, they have given up on... They've already gone through the Rolodex, called Martha and Mary, checked in with her kids, and, well, they couldn't come over, and nobody could stay after school with Sarah, and Johnny needs to, listen, seriously. It is the end of the line. Man, that's brutal. Oh, yeah, here's that 2016 Jeep Compass for 59 cents a mile. Look at that. Okay, fine. No fee 2-day comm check. Everything should be a no fee 2-day comm check. But anyways, 59 cents a mile. And that, I think, a Yukon for 62 cents a mile. Oh, man. By the way, this is funny. The compare button. Somebody finally admitted recently that this compare button is the most useless thing ever. You should not base a current carrier rate on what somebody took in the past. It's almost entirely irrelevant, but the fact that there's a button that says compare. It should say do not compare. This is just nostalgia. It should be the nostalgia button. All right, I'm getting upset. I need some Kool-Aid. I think what it's time to do, you know what time it is. Let's do this. Let's, you guys are looking at Central. Let's go ahead and, I am going to, by the way, we got to do this. We are going to do the CTS Business Coaching question of the day. So, what is the question of the day? The question of the day is, you've been here for an hour, maybe, if I'm lucky. Or let's say you've been here 5 minutes. Have you learned anything? Has any of this actually been car hauling newsworthy? I honestly, in the past hour, I guess I've been doing most of the talking. In fact, I think I've been doing all the talking except for the videos. But when I saw those videos for the first time, I did learn something, and I hope that you learn something too. I hope this sparks ideas, interest, conversation. And I hope, actually, you know what I hope it does? I hope it makes you think, you know what? Tomorrow, I think I'm going to make that phone call I wasn't going to bother making. I think what I'm going to do tomorrow is I'm going to go back through the list of people I've hauled for, and I'm going to start making phone calls. Because if this stuff keeps changing and the rates don't get any better, then if I keep putting my business model at just getting stuff off the load board, I might have a problem. Well, here's what's interesting. We're actually about to, and now I can do this. I'm going to actually I'm going to send a couple emails and invite a couple folks into the show. Because I'm going to bring in Ron. Actually, and by the way, I want to say this too, is that, Jay, where'd you go? Sue cannot join us tonight. Actually, there are storms in the area, and she had trouble with her connectivity. She's not in the office, and so she can't join us tonight. And that's too bad. I'm sorry that she can't make it. But I'll tell you, I'm going to speak on behalf of Sue, because I know what's happened on these load boards. I know how to read the rates. What I was going to ask her is how her dispatchers, and by the way, Sue, if you can hear us, go ahead and see if you can answer some of these questions. What I wanted to do was get confirmation on No, you're not. I want to get confirmation on are the rates low, or have they been low in that, I think rates are down from where they were a year ago and where they're supposed to be at right now. Okay, I do think that. So why is that? why are rates down? Is volume down? Is it just some running lanes? That's what I wanted to ask Sue and get confirmation from her dispatchers. But what I want to do next is we're going to talk to Ron, and we're going to find out, is that true? Because here's the thing is, Ron books his own loads. He looks at the load boards. And in fact, here's what I'm going to do. I'm also going to send this to, let's see here. I'm going to send this to Matt. Matt is going to join us as well and talk about some of his adventures of booking loads. Let's see here. Time. So I'm going to fire him off an invite as well. He's going to join by phone. Ron's going to join by video meeting. And we're going to keep talking about car hauling rates and volume. Because I believe that the load boards are down as far as capacity and rates. And we're going to find out from Ron his experiences. Now, Ron, I can see that you've joined us, but I can't see you or hear you yet. Oh, and you're watching this show. Hey, Ron, you got to stop watching this show.
Okay, hold on.
Which I would normally not tell anybody that. But if you watch the show when you're in the show, and here's what I'm going to do. I turned down Ron's audio for a second. Let's see here. Let's do that. That's me. And then we got Ron. And, let's see here. Which, by the way, what's interesting in some of these organizations is how large they are and how they have all these different fragmented sections. It's almost like some of the larger companies are fragmented just as this industry is fragmented. What do I mean by fragmented? Let's take a look at that graph again. So if we look at this graph, okay, fragmented, shipper, broker, carrier, focused on their section and their section alone. A shipper just wants to get the car moved, doesn't matter who does it, doesn't matter how much the other folks make. What matters is that they can account for a fixed cost in their giant spreadsheet of costs and make the money that they want to make or that their shareholders want to make. Same thing with the broker. Unfortunately, many brokers, if you call and you're booking a load and you say, I need another $100. I mean, have you seen the tolls happening on I-95 as I head north? You know what the answer is? No, I haven't seen them. So anyways, do you want to pick it up or not? In fact, I got a guy that says he's going to do it for $50 less. That is fragmentation. And the more fragmentation we have, the more opportunity there is for somebody to electronify your part of the process, right? How about traffic? If traffic stays as bad as it is, the government will be more motivated to digitize the people. It makes me wonder if that's why we're having so many robots now. Do we have that much social upheaval? I don't know. I mean, we don't have robots yet today, but you know what I'm saying. So that's the fragmentation that I'm talking about. And so some of these large companies, we had a company tell us on the phone, we know we're fragmented. In fact, I believe that every company I've mentioned tonight is so fragmented, they don't even know what their own parts are doing, what's happening. They're not in touch with the processes. There's no time for sympathy. That's what I think. All right, let's go back to this interview. Let's see here. We got Ron up here. Hey, Ron, were you able to, you turned the show off there? Okay, awesome. So Ron's got the show off. Matt, are you with us on the phone? All right. And Ron, you're with us on the phone. I can't see you, Ron, but I can hear you. That's okay. So, all right, so here we are. The question is, what, Ron or Matt, what do you think about load boards? Do you think rates are the same? Are they up or are they down in the areas where you're looking for loads? Sorry, I had
looking
your sound
at-
up. I had the sound off. Start again, Matt. I got your sound up. Thank you.
Okay. You got me now?
Yeah, I got you.
Okay. So I am generally, when I get on a load board, I don't run the same lane every time. I mean, with this truck thing in LA, I do. So I'm looking, usually from the West Coast back to the East. But I'm always looking for the weird things, kind of the things that sit on the load boards for a while. So I guess I don't pay attention to some of the other rates that are happening.
Well, and actually that's a good, because what you're doing is the reason you are chasing the money, right?
I mean, the money's taking me somewhere, and then I'm trying to find the odd stuff that has given people trouble, and usually, stuff that brokers have made promises for and then can't follow through. So I end up with like the actual person doing the shipping,
Oh yeah, now that's interesting. So in fact, I showed that chart of the shipper, broker, carrier, and you in fact happen to be dealing directly with shippers. Now, how is that happening? Because you're creating relationships?
Yeah, some of the loads I've gotten have been off load boards, and I generally, I'm not a broker fan, so I'll almost be finding those loads that the brokers have had trouble with. I've had a couple brokers give me numbers directly. I've had other ones hang up on me. Generally, I try to get them out of the picture, and I know that's not how it usually works, but I guess I have that option.
Well, that's the thing is that, and listen, I believe that that's what all carriers really are trying to do anyways, because one of the things that's happened in the broker market is many brokers, they're just trying to take as much of the shipper's money as they can, and they're really, for a lot of brokers, they don't even care what the carrier makes. It's not their problem. And anytime I bring this up, I get told, well, this is America, Jay. It's free enterprise. Keep your opinions to yourself. Well, for the carrier, that's not really acceptable, though. Right?
No, I mean, it's hard to make money out here. I mean, I can't imagine myself trying to find people to put in a truck. I mean, obviously I'm just building this part of the business. But, watching these big guys go in and out of parking lots and, load and the time and the ELDs and all that stuff. I mean, I don't have time for that stuff. So I don't get in the rat race of some of this other stuff. So I'm not chasing loads. I'm not dealing with brokers all the time. I really try to just get them out of the picture. And as much as that has probably costed me money running empty sometimes, I think in the long run, for me, it's just a better plan.
Well, and I agree with this. So, Ron, now I know, Ron, you use load boards a lot. I know you have relationships too. What's your take on what's happening now?
Yeah, well, my take on this is, like I've said to you guys before, I love load boards. I can't talk about them enough.
Right.
And the thing about them too, as I'm different from Matt, is I'm a more concentrated lane carrier. So what I do is not stray from what I know. And once I got a proven format for myself on what I do and how I do it in a consistent way, I more or less don't try to break anything if it's not, try to change anything if it's not broken. So I have nothing bad to say about load boards. I keep 3 trucks running every week, consistently, every day, from load boards. Same lanes, paying unbelievable rates. And again, my loads going out and the return loads as well, all off of these boards. I can't. It's consistent. I have everything booked the day before with windows of pickup and deliveries. As long as I work in these boundaries, and I show that I'm a transparent carrier as far as my process, how I'm picking up and delivering. with these carriers, we're all happy. I'm happy. I really hear it. I understand everybody's situation is different. Their regions are different. Their zones are different. Their time is different. Dealers open and close at different times. But once you build a certain lane, a certain format, and you see it's one that is consistent. I mean, this takes time, of course. I mean, I know he's starting out. I've been doing this for 20 years now, probably. So I know when I have to move into a different lane. Why? Because the market calls for it, or it's just I call it the 10-year cycle. Every 10 years, 8 to 10 years, there's some kind of big change. We contract with some of these shippers and stuff like that. So now certain freight, certain manufacturers move to other carriers, so on and so forth. So you got to know when all that stuff is kind of more or less going to come, and then you might have to make big changes. But in terms, I focus on the same lanes all the time, and that's how I'm easy. It's easier to forecast and predict what I'm going to do. And you got to remember, I'm not sure if I said this before, but all the freight I do are mostly off lease or rentals, and you can kind of forecast them a little bit in the sense that you got to remember these stuff are coming off lease that were bought 3 years ago. 3 years ago, the market might have been hot, and now you say this is 3 years forward, and it's now. It might be very busy for us when the market is slow. Okay, so you got to take all those things, those back details, those what was going on 3 years ago into effect now, and try to navigate. Okay, this is the lane I'm going to follow. This is the lane I'm not going to follow because in a year from now, because the market 3 years ago wasn't as hot. So now I got to move this way. There's a whole bunch of dynamics in this, and there's a whole bunch of things where if you kind of stay concentrated on one lane, one area, one zone, of course, if it's good and it's going to be profitable, you kind of are able to I don't want to use the predict, but you can kind of forecast and hope it to fall within that area and work with it or work around it or work through it. Again, I've been doing this for so long now. I've had my good times. I've had my bad times. But you can live through it if you kind of know and read between the lines.
So, question for you, Ron, because here's a great question. It's kind of like what I'm thinking. Dragon Club says, what's the best load board to start and be busy? Because everybody wants to know, can they replicate your success?
Again, it goes down to where you want to run, first of all, because again, if I live on the East Coast, if everything's hot on the West Coast, I'm not going to transport everything over.
I don't think everything is hot on the West Coast.
I'm just saying
that, yeah.
So it's very personal, but the thing is that you can't put all your eggs in one basket either. You gotta take time to research and see, because for example, one board might carry a certain bank, another board might carry a particular other bank, and those two banks together happen to be in the lanes that you want to move, then they work for you. I have yet to just work with one board. I work with 5 boards, but I'm going to be honest with you, I probably concentrate on 2. Why? Because they're consistently in my lane, and I've now had a relationship with them consistently now for 2 solid years, where they also tend to see or they're able to predict where I'm going to be. So stuff is thrown my way because they know I'm going to get it done because I'm there anyway.
And the technology's helping you book better loads, right? Recommendations?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean,
it's amazing.
I hear all the aggravation and technology on the driver's side, on the dispatcher side and stuff like that. But yeah, we all don't want to just fall into the trap of the big brother thing and the whole thing. But unfortunately right now is just the crumb in this whole thing. We kind of got to go along with it. And then once you get to a certain point to see, okay, it's gotten to this point now, should I continue on that path or no? That's too much for me. I can't work this way anymore. Okay, then you do a big drastic change. But really right now, the way I like to research what I'm doing and how I'm using these boards, I'm fascinated.
And by the way, we are talking about open used market, correct?
Open used. Well,
are
yes,
you moving OEM also?
No, I don't like OEMs.
Right.
I don't deal with OEMs. I don't
Right.
like OEMs.
It's a
OEMs is
different
not
market.
for me. It's
Yeah.
different beast, different market.
Yeah.
I worked with OEMs for about 15 years. I was with like I mentioned to you guys before, I think I was with Allied Systems for probably like 15 years.
Was that enclosed or open?
They were open. They were all open.
All open.
But that was a union shop that all they dealt with was OEMs. And the only reason why I was in it, and it was such a great gig, was because, fortunately, because we were in the union, we were not liable for damages. Imagine that.
Oh,
Imagine you
wow.
being a driver. Imagine you being a driver. You were an owner operator for the company. If I scratched something or damaged something, I did not have to pay for it.
And you were doing AIAG inspections, right? No.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember how that was. It's so long
Splat
ago
charts.
now.
I mean, it's a different level inspection. Where were you picking up at? Manufacturing?
No,
rail?
right from the ports, right
From
off
the
the rails in the docks, right?
And delivering to where?
To dealers. That was all.
Port to dealer. Okay.
Port to dealer, right?
Yeah.
Port to dealers.
Non-stop, just non-stop.
Non-stop. It was the most beautiful thing ever.
Yeah.
But once that industry took a really big hit and a drastic change, which I always go back to 2008. Then all of a sudden it changed everything. The market, all this technology started coming in, because why? A lot of people were losing a lot of money. So really, I think that's when technology was almost the door open for technology to jump in and start something, because there was a lot of mass just scattered everywhere, and people were losing money. When I'm talking about people, I'm talking about banks who owned some of these carriers, all that kind of stuff. So they were trying to figure out how to put this all together and start moving it again. And in 2000, I go back to 2008 when we had that big crash, because it was just a door opener for all these other little things to come in and take people's attention and steer them in a direction, because everything was just scattered. And I think it's working. I think we're seeing those results now, because everything's moving so fast now that people are finally catching on.
Dude,
again,
it goes moving really fast, though, right? I mean, when you say
I go to that 10-year, I go to that 10-year
gosh.
cycle. I go back to that 10-year cycle. This was happening in 2008. We're feeling it now. That's how I feel things work. Like 10-year cycles, I approximate. When there's a big change, 10 years from now is going to be another change or a catch up.
Can you imagine how different things are going to be in 10 years?
Drastically. And the thing is,
It's going to be insane.
A lot of the people you've had on your show with these new platforms and how to do this, how to do that, we got to listen to these things because whether they fruition or not, it's an idea. Okay, and if we aren't listening to ideas as car haulers, we just get left in the dust, and we're eating everybody's dust, and we're not moving ahead. We're always feeling frustrated. We're always feeling like we don't have answers.
The dealers are way ahead of us.
The dealers are ahead of us, but they wouldn't be ahead of us if it wasn't for this technology.
Well,
back in 2008, dealers were actually behind. The transporters were ahead.
How
okay, the transporters, Allied, they were ahead. They would offer certain services to dealers to get stuff out of there, to them or off the lot quicker, as opposed to now. As now, they've been giving dealers more tools, more resources, more knowledge. They have now, these ACV and all these different platforms that they send their reps there to sell them these services now. Whereas back in the day, it wasn't. It was the other way around. It was the carriers going to them saying, listen, we can do this for you now. We can do this for you. That's not happening anymore. Now, that's why I think the dealers are now ahead of us. And I almost think it should be almost an issue. Believe it or not, it sounds like, you know what? No, I want to have all the info first. I want to be the first one at home. But everything, everything starts from the dealerships. And as far as car hauling is concerned, I think everything starts from the car dealerships. We just got to know how to meet them or how to be there when they need us. But technology is definitely just zooming.
Let me ask this, because here's what I got to do. I got a time thing going on here, and I know that Matt. I know I said I wouldn't keep you too long. Let me ask you this, Matt. With what Ron was talking about, what do you see? Like in the next, let's say that just the next few months, are you going to be able to keep doing the same thing you're doing now, or do you? Because you're looking for loads, you're chasing the money. Is that working for you?
He's definitely on a different plan than I am. I have my home towing and wrecker business, and this is kind of my fill-in stuff. I leave state for customers. And I find loads kind of coming back or filling in the blanks. And the dealer part for me, as you know, these guys probably like Ron is rolling in there taking, you know, their 9 and 10 cars out of there, is I'm kind of getting the call when it's like, hey, we've got this slightly oversized truck, we've got this problem child that we can't get moved. So I've slowly kind of worked a few, you know.
Yeah, I would call Matt. I would call Matt in the special moves department. Matt seems to be the kind of guy who does special moves. And
yeah, I mean, I've got everything from, you know, rollbacks to heavy duty wreckers. I've got a crane truck. There's not much I can't move, so I kind of pick and choose. My stuff's all older, and I'm more or less on a plan to do more for myself. You know, stay small, keep it all kind of. I tried to go big a little bit with the towing, and I'm just kind of on a different plan now.
And that, you know, and that's the thing is, what I was going to say is the theme here is you guys are both specialists, and we've talked about how on when you're building your business, to find your niche, like your super niche, and be a specialist in your niche. That seems to be one of the ways to actually be successful in auto transport, right? So here's what I want to do, Matt. Matt, I told you I'd let you go early, so I'm going to let you go, okay?
Sure.
Do me a favor, and by the way, I want to thank you for joining me tonight. I really appreciate your time, and you send us those emails, and you keep us up to date, so keep doing that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into part 2 of tonight's conversation, okay?
Yes, sir. That's cool. Thanks for having me, and I hope it helps somebody a little bit.
Yeah, no, it really does help, man. Thanks so much.
All right, have a good night, guys.
All right, you too. All right, so what I've got here is, I know that on this show, one of my problems is it's hard for me to keep my time straight, and because I talk so much. But I really appreciate Matt taking the time. He keeps us updated, and I wanted to hear from him. I wanted to talk about load boards a little bit. Now I want to go into, did you guys see how David was talking about insurance rates? Well, we've got Khris. Khris has a YouTube channel called Khris's Garage, and he's dealing with that issue right now. A lot of people are dealing with that issue. So Khris, I just sent you your invite. Go ahead and, if you get a chance, stop the stream. I won't keep you too long. I know it's getting late on the East Coast. And I also sent one out to Ty as well, because what we want to also do then is rein it back in. We've talked about the ecosystem to some degree, and we also talked about hit upon those new technologies. I like to shake things up with new technology. And then, you know, Ron, the thing is, what's interesting about your situation is that I don't think it would be easy. I don't even think it would be moderately easy to replicate what success you're having. I'm not sure if it's your ability to read the load boards, the time you read them. I'm not exactly sure how you're doing that, because I've known dispatchers for years that, and I did this too, we had all the load boards that we know about. You know, I made that video, top 5 car hauling load boards, but sometimes it doesn't matter what load board I check. I can't find the good paying loads, especially in a running lane that I'm used to.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I don't make it seem like I'm some, better than anybody else. But the thing is, I got to say one thing, and this is one of the things that I think I've told you too before, Jay, that attracted me to you in a sense, was that I'm a little anal when it comes to research. I'm the kind of guy who, I think I brought this up once in the show before too, is that I'll never forget, I sat 2 days one time in my truck, well, a day and a half one time in my truck, looking at these load boards on a minute to 10 minute to 20 minute to 30 minute intervals, seeing the actual changes in the actual how many cars get posted, where are they going. I mean, that's the kind of person I am with this stuff. And I think really that just all goes down to doing your job, doing your research, not just saying, okay, there's only 10 cards on the board, they're not for me, and you turn off the thing and walk away and come back an hour later to check it again. It's not about that. It's about studying these boards when everybody's asleep. Okay. You don't know how many times I've caught myself sometimes in the middle of the night. I get to go to the bathroom. What do? I go and I check these boards anyway to see what's happening at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. And then I go back to bed. It's like anything else.
Well, now that is pretty awesome, actually.
Yeah. Anything else that you want to be good at. I mean, unfortunately, like all things in the world, this is what I, became to concentrate on and make a career out of in my life. But anything, you got to put the time into it. I know everybody has a life. I have 4 kids. I have a great family. My home life is stable, beautiful. I can't ask for more, but it's still yet you got to find the time to do these things, whether it be working out, whether it be whatever it is that you focus on that makes you happy. This, unfortunately, for some reason, kind of makes me happy. I like doing this. I'm going to be honest with you. I found this more pleasurable once these boards came out, because it was like an open book. Okay, it's like open books to what everybody has. Before, this stuff didn't exist. X carrier had X freight, B carrier had whatever freight, C carrier had whatever freight. You couldn't touch it. They would give you whatever they just wanted to give you. But now, because they have to move this stuff, they post everything, and it's there for you to read. You just got to know how to read it. Literally, that's what it comes down to. It's not that I'm any better than anybody else. I just think I put more time in, and I'm dedicated to reading, literally reading this. Hey, Mr. Ty, nice to see you. But again, I don't want to make it seem like I'm some kind of, unique person or anything like that. But again, I have been doing this for a long time. I have worked at large carriers. I had relationships with a lot of people in the inside dispatching and stuff like that with these large carriers. So I got to see their mindset. I got to see mindsets like Jay, firsthand, what they're thinking. So now that I'm more or less doing this all on my own, and I'm able to do it on my own because of technology, I've probably eliminated 3 different types of hands that I would have to hire because of technology. Dispatcher.
But here's the thing. This is the question I always have.
Mm-hmm.
Aren't there times where the load board doesn't spit out the load you need? That doesn't happen.
Okay. Yes, there is, especially let's say there is a board that does do that. But again, I'm not going to say that it was easy for that to happen, but it does come to a point. You got to remember too, these people have to answer to somebody. Okay.
I know, but I'm telling you.
Listen. Let me finish this. Let me finish this, Jay.
All right. I just can't get it. I can't.
They have to answer to somebody. These dispatchers that work for these carriers have to answer to somebody. So what happens when these cars are sitting on their desk for X amount of time? There's somebody saying, "How come this isn't being moved? You're not doing your job, whatever." So what do? They see who always is moving this lane for them, and it becomes automatic. Sometimes
they're calling. Okay, so wait a minute.
Yeah,
you're saying they're calling you.
I'm saying. They're calling me, and it's come to a point when sometimes.
Okay, thank God.
But listen to me. It's not. I don't want to make it seem like 2 at the same time. They're just calling me because I put a lot of work and I put a lot of wait for them to get that call.
I know, but they called you. That's my whole point.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I know. I don't want to make it seem like it's also a big a revelation that I'm trying to keep something. But the thing is, I just don't want to make it seem. I don't want to dismay other carriers who continue to work, because you can get there too. It's just that I've shown these carriers, like, listen, this is what I do and this is how I do it. If it works within your parameters, you can count on it. Okay. So what happens? They know my board. They have my credentials. Sometimes in the morning I'll wake up, there'll be loads already on my board. What happens? I come in there meticulously, and they know if I'm not going to do it by 10 o'clock in the morning, I'll give them an answer back, and I'll throw it back on their board so they can sell it off again.
Okay. Hey, Ron, here's what we're going to do, Ron. We're going to come back to this, but I told Khris that, because I know, Khris, you're on the East Coast. It's getting late, and for some reason, Ron is, me and Ron have it going. We're going to go. But we're going to take a pause on that for a second. So if you want to see us, if you want to see me and Ron in round 2, you're going to want to stick around. Khris, what is Chris's garage? Tell me more about it, will you? It's making me laugh.
I was really trying to do it about my car.
You wanted me to get there. You egging me on. You wanted me to get there, Jay.
I know. But okay, so I want to get to this because I want to get
Sorry
to
about that.
Khris.
Sorry,
It's
go
okay.
ahead.
So Khris, you've got Chris's Garage on YouTube, and I found your video. By the way, I'm gonna pull that up. Go ahead and please tell us more about what Chris's Garage is, Khris, while I bring up your video.
Yeah, so I really tried to do it about my car and working on my girlfriend's car and friends' cars and stuff like that. And it didn't get many views, so she suggested I put something on there about the trailer, and then that took off. So whenever something is making money, I guess is why people will pay attention to it.
Right? So because I found your video. Here's your video, and I turned the sound off, and we've got that's you, right?
Yeah, no one has videos on the Easy 4.
On the Easy 4, and I've actually seen requests for Easy 4 videos, and so tell us more about this video.
So this is just me showing how to hook it up, how to load it, just how to use it. And
right,
no one has these videos. A lot of people ask me questions like, "What's the weakness with this trailer?" Which is the axles, those triple axles. But I love this trailer. Other than the triple axles, if it had the two 10,000-pound axles on there, the dually wheels, this trailer would be perfect. I don't know why they put these triple axles on there, but anyway, that's what the video is about.
Actually, I've heard somebody say that about the axles. I'll tell you what. You know what's cool is I loaded a guy out of North Carolina on an Easy 4. We found a route from North Carolina to Kansas City, St. Louis, Kansas, Missouri, Oklahoma, and back. And I've booked for this trailer. It is a great trailer to book for, especially with a driver that knows how to load it.
Did he have any problems?
You know what his biggest problem was? He was going through tires like crazy.
Really?
Mm-hmm. I don't know if he had. I think he had a 3500. I don't think he had a 5500.
That's what I have, a 3500.
Okay. Yeah, let me know if you go through tires.
Tires last me forever.
Okay. Well,
tires.
That driver drove the heck out of me. He didn't even sleep in motels. He would drive. This was before ELD, by the way. Before the Kool-Aid and the egg timer, he would drive as long as he possibly could, crash over in his seat, and then wake up and start driving again. So I don't know.
I don't have ELDs. I'm not going out of state, so I don't use ELDs.
You don't?
No, but the minute they try to put ELDs on in-state drivers, I'm done, man. I'm gonna have to find something else. I'm not gonna deal with that ELD shit. It's just too much of a headache.
You don't say. Right? I
want to go home, man. I don't want to be having to pull over in the middle of the street 5 minutes from the house because I'm scared to keep moving for whatever reason. So.
Right. So now this video, I mean, you got 9,000 views on this, right? And then you've made more videos with the Easy 4, right? And
yeah, I'm running out of stuff to make with this trailer. I don't know what else to. What else to do.
Well, isn't that the problem? It is really interesting. I made many dispatching videos, and then I'm like, okay, I'm kind of done making dispatching videos. I want to expand my horizons. Well, you just have to keep getting bigger trailers.
Yeah, but then I'd have to get a bigger truck. Now I got to pay for parking for that, and then what's the maintenance on that?
So so why don't you talk about that? We were talking about, and by the way, before I leave your site here, I just want to say, guys, go to Chris's Garage. Okay, if you can see that, it's Khris, Khris. Let me make that bigger here. Khris''S Garage. Go to Chris's Garage on YouTube. Check out his videos. This video did really well, so feel free to subscribe, like, and share. And, Khris, so what did you want to talk about? When we first started talking, what were you talking about that's bothering you right now?
We're talking about insurance, and things have been slowing down here in Florida as far as the car hauling. Before, I used to see loads in the same place, 3 going from Jacksonville to Clearwater, or 4 going from Port Richey to Orlando. Now it's onesies and twosies spread out all over the place. So kind of messing things up. I don't know if it's because it's saturated or what. And now insurance is going up for everybody, or what I'm told. I know it just went up for me, from $1,300 a month to $1,700, and that's with no tickets, no accidents, no losses, no claims. And I've been in business since 2015, so I don't know what the deal is there. But I mean, they must be trying to run everyone out of business or something.
Ty and I will talk about insurance. Ty, you have opinions on this too, as far as, I mean, I don't know, speculation or at least concern, right?
Yeah, I have a lot of concern about insurance. I talked to a guy this week down in Florida, actually, Monday. Trying to remember the guy's name. He'll come to me later. But anyway, his quote, he's a new guy. His quote from Progressive was $4,000 for 1 ton and a 3-car trailer.
Yeah.
Wow.
1,500 to 1,700 ain't bad, buddy.
Wow.
When I started, I was paying, I think it was 300 and change. Then it went up to 800, or it went up to 800 and change. Then it went up to 1310, and now we're going to 17. I mean, where does it end? You know what I mean?
Who is it with? Who's the underwriter?
Well, now I have Progressive. Before that, I had Indemnity.
Did you get a hold of the people I sent you?
At where?
The people I gave you the number to?
Yeah, April. She's working on it. I called her today. I spoke to her again, and at first she was like, "Well, I can't beat that price. The best I can get you is 1,800." And then she all of a sudden was like, wait a minute. Something just came up. I'm going to give you a call back. And she didn't. So I'm going to call her again tomorrow because I have to renew by the 6th, which is, I think, Friday. What is that? Yeah. So it's either I renew with someone else or I end up paying $1,700 a month, which I don't want to work that hard. Like I shouldn't have to.
I'm in shock at that rate. I mean, I paid less than that for a 9-car. That's why I take my hat off to you guys. The expenses are high. You're doing it with a 3-car. Yeah, you got to shop around. But I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I'm just in shock on that.
No, that's good. It's good input. Dragon Club says he's paying $21,000 for a 7-car. And I mean, There's so many parameters that go into this. Ty, you and I we've been there together when we've talked to insurance companies. We've met some face to face, and it's just there's so many parameters, equipment and location and experience, and I mean.
Well, here's the thing, Jay. I mean, the reality of it is I mean, look at Khris. He's got a 4-car trailer. He's been running. Sounds like he's a load board guy. Goes from, what did you say, Khris? 15 to 17?
Went from 13 to 17.
13,
and I was struggling
17.
with 13.
Yeah.
My concern for a guy like Khris is that he's probably not going to be around too long.
Yeah.
He said it.
That's his concern.
That's my concern also.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's many guys.
Because that extra $300, that was my electric bill and my water bill in my house. You know what I mean?
How much are you working right now?
About 3 or 4 days a week.
You don't want to work more than that?
Usually it takes me a day to set up a load going north and a load coming back south.
Well, and sometimes sitting and planning is better than just.
No, that's going and driving to 4 different locations to pick up 4 cars to take to 4 different locations on the other side, right, Khris?
Probably 1 or 2 locations. So I would pick up 4 in my area and then run 4 to Orlando, drop off 2 at one auction in Orlando and maybe 2 at another auction. Then deadhead all the way to Jacksonville, pick up 3 and run them back for Metro Logistics.
What are you picking up? Cars?
Cars going to Orlando, but Metro Logistics is trucks, which they're terrible, man. They got big, heavy transit vans and F-150s, and those things tear your tires and axles up.
and they don't pay shit. They're paying. When I started with them, they were paying $600 for a load to come from go from Jacksonville to Clearwater, which is 200 miles. Now they're down to $450, $430. They'll shave off $10 every week, and to the point where you have to call and say, "Hey man, I just moved the same load last week for $450. What's going on?" And then they'll put you on hold, and then they'll come back and say, "Okay, we'll do it for $450." But they're working off people's desperation. I could see when there's not many loads on there, the prices start dropping because they're hoping that people are desperate and they'll just take anything. You know what I mean?
That's the fragmentation I'm talking about.
They do.
I'm not saying they're heartless, but I am saying they don't care. There's a difference.
But there's guys that are taking it though. They're taking the.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. And as long as somebody does, that's why Facebook is full of anger for their fellow man. Right?
Yeah.
They're begging each other. But then you've got brokers that you have it booked. I'm telling you, man, I'm about to say the broker's name. Whew. I better calm down. Because there's a broker that I worked with, and they have a color in their name. At least I said that. All right? So they have a color in their name, and that thing was booked. We had a deal. It was done. You had my cert and everything. Uh-oh, I'm hearing myself. Somebody's watching my show. He thinks. So, it was a done deal. And then I get a call back, and I get some story about the customer. No, you know what it was? Somebody else took the load cheaper. I know, because I talked to somebody else in the office that thought I was the other transport company. Uh-oh.
I made a whole video about that, telling guys to stop taking these loads.
BS. It's nonsense. And so when you call for that load and the broker says, will you do it for $50 less? Okay, yeah, that's free enterprise. Yeah, that's awesome, man. Good work.
That doesn't work out for anybody because the driver doesn't get paid as much. One,
it's garbage.
And then everybody else, now that's the going rate. So I don't understand how guys make money doing that.
That should be illegal.
Yeah. Cars arrive right now. Usually a load is $100 going from Clearwater to Orlando. I bet you I can go on right now, and that same load is $65.
Oh, I guarantee you're right.
I mean, for that one car.
And one car, exactly. All that time. What's the point of hauling a car for $45? I don't care if it goes 3/4 of a mile.
Exactly.
Call
I don't get it.
I mean, I don't get it either.
So, but guys are taking it. So either they don't have any insurance. I don't know. Somebody's getting around the system. There's no way they're paying $2,000 a month for insurance and taking cars for $65.
That's what is it? Doesn't that make you wonder how is that possible? Right?
Yeah.
I don't know. That's what everybody wants to know. Ron, Ty, how is that possible?
Well, I'm a little bit again. I'm not doubting you by what you're saying at all, but that example you gave about Cars Arrive posting a car normally for 100, and then maybe now because the market's slow and they brought it down to 65. I haven't seen that on I would say on at least 3 different boards. Does it happen? Yeah, it does happen, but more on POV freight. Not so much on Cars Arrive. So I'm not sure what freight you're actually taking. I mean, it sounds like you're taking some OEMs from Metro, but whether it's slow, it's not, or whether it's busy, I haven't seen that. So I'm a little bit. I'm going to look out for it, but to get to the day, I have not seen that happen. But when you go to Central, oh yeah, there it's just a free flow.
I want to be clear. I'm not saying it was Cars Arrive. I'm not saying what load board it was. I'm not.
No, I'm not calling you out. I'm just saying that
Central is a free for all.
Yeah, Central is a free for all. Yeah,
Central's okay. Hey, we got to raise. We got 3 out of 4 says Central's a free for all. Ty, are you with us?
Yeah.
Yeah, but you don't look at Central, and that's one of the reasons why
I don't look at it anymore either. I used to pay.
Hey, Chris, what do you think is the number 1 load board?
I think Ready Logistics. I make good money on Ready. They not only send me loads, like in the morning when I wake up, I have 4 cars on there. But they pay good, and if they're in-ops, I just call them. Hey, this is an in-op. There's no keys. Well, they ask, can you get it? Yeah. Okay, they add another $60 on top of whatever they were already paying me, which is decent. Cars arrive, they don't give a shit if the car rolled over 20 times. Either you're taking it or you're not, and this is how much we're paying. Done. What do you call it? Metrogistics. They were consistent and they have good lot hours. You can go pick up from the rail yard 24 hours a day, which is good. They're convenient. But if there's one scratch on that car, they want $450 per scratch. One, that's a problem. Once you know where the lug nuts go into the where the rim is, there was one time I dropped off a F-150, brand new F-150, and I guess the machine that puts the lug nuts on at the factory must have chipped the inside of one of the lug nut holes. They blamed me for it, hit me for $925 for a steel rim. That it was $75 at the junkyard, maybe 50. So you got to watch out for stuff like that with Metro. I mean, they'll find a scratch on the frame and try to blame you for it, and now you just took that load for free, pretty much, because they'll just keep your check. You know what I mean? But
yeah, we'll see. And so what I find interesting is that, I mean, you and I, we've never talked before today, unless it was yesterday or the day before. But the point is, we're saying the exact same thing. Can you imagine how many people are saying the exact same thing?
Yeah. It's just, I think it's too saturated, man. I think there's just too many guys doing it. And I don't know, man. Every time I stop somewhere, a guy's running up to me asking me how to go about doing it.
Ty says it's not too saturated. And yet, I agree with you. Every day, people are asking me. Yeah, Ty, chime in, because Khris is about to reach through the Zoom meeting and grab you.
What state are you in?
Missouri.
Okay. He might not be saturated in Missouri.
You're in Florida.
I'm in New York.
You're in New York, right?
I'm in New York, and I can tell you though it's not that saturated. And we
Yeah,
have a
well,
lot.
I bet.
And we have a
With
lot.
those
We
low
have a lot
bridges.
we have a lot of competition over here. The thing is, the market that you're in with that 3 car is different than what I do. And
Hey,
you know,
Ron,
go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah.
how many days do you work in a week?
Oh man, 7 days a week. You know, physically 5. You know, and physically 8. I mean, mentally 8. You know, it's again, it's just to go back to the central board.
All right. And
When I say,
ask another question, Ron. Hang on.
go ahead.
And it comes out. I think I heard the little conversation between you and Jay. If I heard it right, it turns out brokers actually call you on the phone.
Not brokers. Carriers.
Somebody calls you on the phone.
Somebody calls me on the phone.
Carriers are calling him. What?
Wait. So let me go back. I don't want to say something I'm not supposed to say, but listen. All that being said, okay, even though I said before I get direct calls, the thing is too, those same companies will drop me, suspend me indefinitely or for X amount of time at the drop of a hat if I do not fall within their parameters of how I'm doing their work and how I'm performing. That is key right there.
Amen.
Listen, I've been with these companies now consistently, and I say they're my bread and butter now for 2 years, solid. Okay. And if I fall crack right now, even though I've been this loyal to them, they will drop me like they don't even know I exist on this earth anymore. Okay. But they don't, because that's what people don't seem to understand. If you don't stay within their parameters because you want to get up late this morning because you worked too hard the night before, tough luck. You have to get up and you have to go do it. Okay. The market that Khris is in is different than what I do. And I see what he's saying. I see his frustrations. And I see how he sees differences in what he does as far as the rates. This is going to be, I don't want to make it seem like it's bad, but in a sense, he is getting some of the leftovers. Okay. The ones who are getting, for example, what I get, I'm getting 9 car loads. I'm getting, 7 car loads, 6 car loads from a dealer. If a dealer calls me and says I only have 2 cars, until I get it all together for a 9 car to go pick it up, I'm not going to get it, and they know it.
You just a dealer calls you?
Say again?
When a dealer calls you?
Well, no, not when dealers don't call me because I don't even like to deal with dealers. But I'm just saying, if somebody calls me for 2, I'm not going to go do it. Don't even call. They don't know not to even call me because I'm not going to come for it.
Because you don't do onesies, huh?
I don't do onesies. Okay.
Because you built a lane.
I've built a lane. I've built a lane. I put time into it to also.
I don't think Ron uses load boards.
Yeah, no, I do. Listen, this is why I want to bring up Central again. When I say I don't use Central, I don't use Central to pick at all. But I watch Central. Central to me is information still.
No, that's the thing. Exactly.
Okay.
And I actually see, here's what's
an auction.
What's that? What'd you say?
Say again, Si?
It's exactly like a gate pass at an auction.
Exactly.
Hey, Ron, I got a question.
Yeah.
Sure.
I've been wondering this. I'm from New York. So I go up there, I don't know, once a year, once every other year, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
How the hell do you drive a 9 car out there with those bridges?
Okay.
They got bridges that you can't even walk under because it's so low.
Okay. Listen, this is going to be another thing that helps me out and why I've probably been able to last so consistent for so long is because I am in a special market. New York, this metro area, the bridges, the tolls, the clearances that you have to watch for, the back roads. You're talking about cobblestone streets still that exist here in this area, okay? Yeah. I know them like the back of my hand. So they do pay for more. There are some carriers that will post stuff really cheap, but if you live here and you know what you're doing, you know you're not going to take it because it's coming from somebody who has no idea what this market around here is like. So it's not going to be a carrier or a shipper that you're going to want to deal with anyway if they're posting stuff for cheap. But the carriers or the shippers who consistently are having stuff moving off the island, that freight is going to be appropriate because they know it's not going to get moved in their timely fashion that they want if it's not paid right. That's why, like, for example, oh my God, I can't tell you how many bridges are here in New York that they post for 13.6 and you can't pass 13.6. Okay, boom. All right. You got guys that come from the outside to come to drop a load on the island on this area, something like that, and they don't know about these particular areas. There goes a car that they've damaged. Okay, and there again, for what? There's so many people, carriers that will not even touch this area, and I know that works for me, and that works for carriers in my area. I have, there's 10, probably 15 carriers, I know in my area, and we've known of each other for many years for working in this industry that have still been here because we know how to get in and out of this area, and it helps us keep this market here because nobody wants to come here. So that's definitely a small dynamic that helps me be in this market for so long. But again, I don't think I've ever roofed a car in my 20. Maybe I scratched one on the top of my trailer or a truck, but I've never roofed a car because this is just my backyard and I know it's there. But again, that's why this area for me has always worked because I know it takes a special driver. Not to say I'm the special driver, but if my drivers, my car holders, to have knowledge to be able to work around here. I do think that a lot of the drivers who work for these big carriers, United Road, Cassins, all those big guys out here, they don't get paid enough for all the knowledge that they know.
United Road, they are the worst.
Oh,
yeah.
So we've hit them all. We did Central, Cars Arrive, Metro, One Dispatch,
ABC,
and we and ACV. Which, by the way, I want to say this, Khris, you're lucky. You're lucky if you're in Florida and you're on such a common area to actually have a One Dispatch account. I don't think they're signing up new carriers in your area because it's saturated.
No, they're not. Because I've referred people to them and they couldn't get on with them. I got on with them years ago, but let me tell you a funny story about United Road. So I had them in for probably about a year, and they were paying $150 a car from Tampa to Jacksonville. They were at the port. They were all in the same place. So that was a good little run for me.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, I get an email, probably about a year after having them, saying we want you to not only up your insurance to
general liability,
$250 in cargo, $250,000 in cargo. Not only do we want you to up your insurance, but we're dropping those loads from $150 to $55. No, $58. I'm sorry, $58 a car. So I emailed the lady and I said, let me get this straight. You want me to pay more for insurance and you're gonna pay less for these cars. I was like, you guys need to revisit your management and go fuck yourself. Like, you lost your mind. You're not doing that. So anyway, that was a nice little run while it lasted, and I quit messing with them. I wasn't gonna up my insurance and pay more.
Well, and it sounds to me whoever negotiated that contract originally either, pulled one over on the shipper, because if that's a high volume, that rate was too high to begin with as far as that company goes. But then to drop it to such degree is and I've seen stuff like, I'm telling you, Khris, I've seen that stuff too.
Well, here's the thing. They're all over Central. So they probably were putting stuff on Central. People were taking it for cheap. And then all of a sudden they went to the drawing board and were like, why are we paying $150 when we got these guys over here that will take it for $50? Let's go ahead and just change up this whole thing. And that's what they did.
And I know.
And more power to them, but
I know I've seen those individual cars, and they're not only are they like 58, but they'll be like 57, 70, and they'll dump individual cars, just lists of individual cars, and you go and you can pick 9 of them or 3 of them or whatever, but still it's not profitable.
No, because you're driving 200 miles for $58. So
and they're like, but it's one pick, one drop. I'm like, who cares if it's one pick, one drop? It's
Hey, let me ask you. Let me chime in right now. When you guys pick stuff for, let's say, United Road, are you guys picking it through Central, or are you guys picking it through United Roads Board when you finally pick it?
Now, there's a good question. I got an answer. Khris, what's your answer?
When I was doing it, I was going straight through United Road. I had a girl there that I would call her direct line and ask her what she had, or she'd call me and tell me, I got 4, I didn't even take it.
Were you looking at those emails with those Excel spreadsheets that go for days? Were you looking at that?
No, I never even looked at that. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
They sent that to me. I didn't even look at that. I was like, to hell with this. I just called and got on the phone.
I don't know who. Yeah, I don't know who's got time for that. Because you have to search. You're like, okay, where's a city I even know?
Yeah, I mean, that's mostly for out-of-state loads, though. Like, my loads were in-state. I don't go out of state.
But have you ever, and I've actually, I've said this before in a video, so nothing I'm saying here is actually new, because I've said this before, but if you try to use their internal load board, sometimes there's a load on Central that they posted, and you can't find it on their own internal load board.
Yeah, that was weird, too. Yeah, I didn't see that.
All right,
That's why I used to call.
If I can chime in with that thing, okay, this is where some, and Jay, I always hail you for your research, but one thing that doing your really good research on is that the reason why you discover that they do stuff like that is because every board,
it's already gone.
No, every board posts differently on Central. Let's just say hypothetically, United Road, they only post 3 times a day. So whatever they posted in the morning, okay, nobody will go back on Central from that carrier,
but
till like middle of the day.
What I'm saying is, it's not that it's not gone. It's just that it's not posted on their internal load board. It's still available, but it's not on their internal load
right.
board.
Right, but somebody personally takes them off the board. Sometimes they'll still leave it on the board because of human error. I'm not sure how other carriers. I don't know how other boards do it, but I found that one board does it that way. Even though they've taken it, they don't have it anymore in their internal board. It's still beyond Central, because I used to call them out on it. Okay, and they would say, "Yeah, it's just."
How about that? That's right. How about the broker that you call and they're like, "Oh yeah, that one's already gone. I need to take it off Central," and a couple hours goes by and it's still sitting there. What's going on there?
Well, that's why I don't deal with brokers.
Which means you really don't use the load board.
No, I definitely use the load boards.
Oh man, this is getting great.
Hey, Jay.
Yeah.
Load boards are I love them, man. They're the best thing.
They're the best. You know what? Load boards for you are like bazooka comic strips. You read the comics.
Yes, that is me.
Don't actually get your information there.
It's come to a point where
crazy.
exactly. I read those load boards.
Who reads load boards for fun? Do you,
That's
Khris?
just-
Do you read load boards for fun?
Not for fun. None of this is fun to me. Believe me.
We need to get Khris a relationship, right? And I don't mean you know what I mean? I mean a business relationship.
Khris might benefit from a 1 hour with CTS.
I'm most positive that Khris is ready for CTS business coaching, and that's a wonderful thing.
Just to give you another example, like Ty, right?
Yeah.
Ty is known for being at these auctions on his phone all the time. Okay, that's his way of putting in time into what he's doing.
Oh man.
Okay, that's Ty's way. Every time you run into Ty and he's on the phone and he doesn't have a minute to talk to you because he's on the phone, even if it seems like to us he's just bullshitting, but he's doing his work. He's on the phone with somebody. That's time. That's not just because you love it. That's just because, Jesus, it's just like a basketball player. Okay, a professional athlete. They're putting in 10,000 hours to be a pro in their particular sport. Yeah. You know, that's work. That's hard work. So it's not that I'm any different from anybody else. It's just that I am putting in the time. Ty's putting in his time.
Right.
You know, Ty auctions to Ty is like church.
Oh yeah.
Ty goes there all the time, every Sunday.
I think I've said that to you, Ty.
Oh, have you?
That auctions are his church.
Well, you know, to me, boards are my hobby. I like to listen. I see boards. Jesus, you can see from board to board where the freight is being moved to, in a sense that it got busier in one zone now and it dropped dead in the other zone. So let's move things around a little bit, you know. But again, it's like an open book. You just got to read the stuff.
So you know what I did was because what's cool. So Ty is busy coaching, helping carriers. You're searching the load boards. What I've started to do now is, I'll tell you what. Honestly, the other day I was scrolling through Central and I started calling brokers at random, just to find out their input. And I talked to a couple of brokers. They were cool. And and one guy told me that he thinks that in general rates are down, volume is down, and that it's not good for the carriers. He said it.
Right.
That's what I thought he was. That's what I thought he would say if he was being honest, and he was.
Well, I mean, even the other day when we had a small chat and I got on Central right away to see what the stats were. Wow, the number was lower than usual. It was like 75% lower than I usually used to see it, but. Again, I don't use Central to pick from just to see what the scope of the landscape is. But because of my lanes and what I build has been consistently, I don't want to say high, but just consistent, I don't have a need to count on Central for anything more than just additional information.
Right. Well,
you know,
that's the thing. And
again,
listen,
again, you got the key word is information,
and freight,
not work.
Freight is down too. Freight rates are down too on load boards. Car hauling rates are down, freight rates are down. So it's not like we're not alone. I mean, this is a thing. Now, they could go back up. Could.
Go ahead, Ty.
They might stay stagnant. Ty, go ahead, please. And then I want to go back to Khris because I know Khris has got to sign off. He's got to work early. But Ty, please.
Well, actually, I was worried about Khris. I was going to see if he needs.
See? I know. Ty is always worried about how the carrier's doing. Khris, do you want to add any parting thoughts? I know you got to go.
I'll take all the help I can get. And if you have any other load boards that I don't know about, I don't even move for dealers because not big dealerships anyway. Because I heard they need, I don't know, I tried to look into it and I was told they need more insurance. This insurance thing is a real problem.
Right.
Like, I don't have any accidents, any tickets, any losses. And my shit's going up every year. Then when you try to move for a dealership, well, now you don't have enough. They want you to have more insurance and workman's comp and a blood sample and all this other extra shit. And I'm like, come on, man, you're killing me.
You are, I'll tell you what, you are just about to your number. You're at the DMV. They're going to pull your number and you are in line to talk to Ty, dude.
Yeah, definitely. You got to talk to Ty.
You are ready to talk to Ty. And actually, this is what this is all about. One of the reasons we have these roundtables, I call this a roundtable, is that I know there are people watching right now. It could be you. I could be talking to you. And you are right now thinking, man, I feel this way. I see these problems. I don't know what to do, but I believe in this business. You need to talk to Ty at CTS Business Coaching. I know it sounds like an advertisement. I don't know how else to put it, though, because Ty is sitting right here. He helps carriers. He's on the phone constantly. Ty, what's your phone number?
417.
Yep.
483. 2764.
What state are you in? I think you said Missouri.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And it's Ty at ctsbusinesscoaching.com. And you know what's really interesting, Ty, is that, how long have you and I been doing this? Like, collaborating? What, a year? 2? Not even 2. Feels like 5. Feels like 10. Feels like a lifetime. No, it's like, what, a year and a half? Yeah. It's amazing. It's this thing because I'm constantly finding new people to talk to, bringing in companies and guests on the show, and you are one by one helping people, and the word is getting out. It's amazing.
Yeah, it is, and it's fun. But I wanted to, before we go any further, Khris, are you ready to roll?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thanks for coming on, man. And if you call me tomorrow, we'll talk.
I will. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
And Ron, thanks for your input about those bridges. I was in New York not that long ago, and I just kept turning to my girlfriend saying, how the hell do they get these cars out here with these bridges? Like, it was mind-boggling.
Yeah, rule of thumb is just make sure you're on a 13.6, and as long as you're on a 13.6, you'll be fine.
Yeah, I wouldn't even imagine bringing anything up here. Not even on a 3-car wedge.
Yeah, it'd be tough.
The traffic too, man. I'd lose my mind. Like the wrinkles would just grow on my face. I couldn't imagine sitting in that. We sat in traffic for 2 hours going from Jersey. No, how long was it? 3 hours? 3 hours going from Jersey to Brooklyn. And I was ready to just sleep in the car that night. Like I didn't even want to go back over the tunnel. So I couldn't imagine having to move cars through there and have to be somewhere before they close. Or my hats off to you, man, for doing that out there. That's crazy.
Thanks, but it's like everything else. You gotta learn where you're at, what you got to work with, and just move ahead sometimes. Don't let all that noise get into your head, Khris, and just quit if you haven't done your research yet. Talk to Ty. It's frustrating. You're dealing with a wedge there, and there's certain things that I can tell you're not sure of yet, and you're trying to put the best foot forward. But in this market right now, the way it is, you need to come up to speed a little bit, and Ty will give you some of those details or some of those frustrations, and see if at the end of the conversation, okay, you know what, I have done this, I haven't done that, let me try this. Sometimes block out that noise, that frustration, and put some attention to your area, to what you're doing before you just give in. I hear it. I've been there. I remember those days. But definitely the information and the resources that you have now to find out whether you're on the right path and now do exist and are documented. And now, because of Jay's show and Ty and stuff like that, it's easy to get. Back in the day, it was like you knew it and you crashed on your own, and that was the only way you're going to find out whether you succeeded or not. So, right now, use this, believe it or not, from week to week when I just listen to the show. And again, I've been doing it for a long time. I still learn certain things from it. There's certain things, sometimes these guys will call me up and I'm like, oh, geez, I didn't know that. I think I even asked Jake just the other day, what's fleet services again? And I was like, oh yeah, that's right. It has to deal with registers and stuff like that. I totally forgot. And I've been doing this for so long already. I was like, man, you never stop learning, because also this industry continuously changes. Even what Ty might tell you tomorrow, in 3 months from now, you might be like, oh shoot, this doesn't work like this anymore. But at least you knew what was happening 3 months ago, and you see the evolution of it, and you see, oh, this is why it went that way, as opposed to just getting where the change is already at, and you're like, oh, this is ridiculous. I can't do this anymore. Just like the insurance thing that you said. Yeah, I know that's the case. I'm not down what you're saying, but instead of taking the attitude of like, you're crazy, you can't be doing this to us. We can, you're cutting down the rate. I remember that happened around here too, and it didn't work out for them. We won as carriers. and we're like, there's no way we're getting that extra 150 cargo. We're keeping that 250, and we call the insurance companies. Again, my point being, you can't just take that information, sink it in, and feel like, oh, they said it and this is how it is. Screw them. You gotta see what's behind that. You gotta see what else everybody else is doing around you. How are they succeeding or not succeeding? If they are complaining and you see they have the exact same problems you do, and it's that black and white, okay, I can see it. But really, because this industry is so large and there's so many changes going on, you gotta see the parameters of the whole picture before you decide to throw in the towel. Talk to Ty, stay in it. I'm not sure if you said how long you've been doing this already, but to be honest with you, when you start in your own venture, blinded, yeah, you can fall a lot quicker.
I've been doing it since 2015, but I think everybody's just going up. I have a friend that owns a Rico lot. Hers went up $7,000, and she's pissed. So instead of paying $4,000 a month, which is already a lot, now she's about to be paying $5,000 a month.
Yeah, it is. I have heard that as a whole. It is going up. But my point in the insurance was insurance. When you mentioned that a particular broker or company was asking for more cargo insurance, I think.
United Road. Yeah.
yeah. That's the part where I didn't. When we got that news, we didn't just take it like, oh, okay, that's what it is. Then I'm not doing your freight anymore, and screw you, and take your stuff and eat it. I kind of looked into it like, all right, why do they want this? Are the insurance companies really going to give us that extra $150,000? What happened? Insurance companies weren't giving that extra $150,000. So we won it. We went back and we said, no, this is what we're doing. This is the most insurance we're going to get. Nobody else wants to give us that extra $150,000, and I still have the freight. I didn't lose it. But again, what that comes down to, my point being, is that I did some work. I didn't just take it at face value and just say, oh, that's what you're going to do to me? Then screw you. Okay. Yeah. I took a step back, took a breath, and said, man, this is crazy. Why is this? I mean, I'm not to say that I always come to the right conclusion, but I do take a step back and say, why is this happening? What's going on here? Again, it's easier said than done, because again, you just want to get paid. Your bills are coming at the end of the week. You want to get this done. You don't want to feel like, oh my God, I'm not going to have insurance next week. So you're looking to just march forward and just move on to the next thing. But at the same time, don't burn any bridges. Do not burn any bridges. This industry, as big as the country that we live in, this industry, as much commerce that it has in it, it's not that big. Okay?
And I'll tell you what, and that's Ron, you know what? Even with the things anything I've said tonight, and people I've talked to already know this, that there's a couple folks I've talked to since early on in video making, and I said some things about whether it was a company or whatever that wasn't flattering, but I've talked to them and they actually appreciated some of that feedback, even if it was blasted out with a megaphone. So, some of this feedback, even the stuff that you're giving, Khris, it's actually helpful, as long as we don't, just tear everything to pieces and trash the party. It's actually helpful feedback. There are folks listening, and there are people listening. We don't even know who they are. But now, Ty and I have learned this. There are people listening and looking for feedback such as this that can help their business model as well. So even the things that you've said, hopefully, and I try to keep that in mind too. I mean, I want to the videos that I showed. Will ACV auctions be upset? I don't know. Actually, I think they should not. They should be happy that we're trying to get the word out that things are changing. And that's what Ron is talking about too. Things are changing, and yet there's still a lot of homework to be done. It's Absolutely. Weird. And that's why I talked this episode 88. This is car hauling news. Isn't it weird? Where did you get your news 2 years ago? I don't even know.
Yeah.
Google?
It wasn't even
Facebook.
Good.
It was Facebook. It was, you know what? It was the Truckers Report.
No, it was OOIDA.
OOIDA. Yeah, and I know them too. They're cool. But it's that OOIDA is one of many trucking resources, and that's trucking. You'll find some car hauling information sprinkled in the trucking, but you have to search for it.
Right.
Well, Jay, one of the things that I really appreciate about the show and about the people we have on the show is the fact that we're all still talking about the same thing. And I like what you did at the beginning of the show. How you got that picture? Can you put it back up with the shipper, the broker, and
Yeah,
the
sure.
carrier?
Let's pull that up here. All right, so
Okay.
first let me pull. Boom, boom, boom. Got to get the name cards off. All right, let's share. And I should have this on my desktop. So, and I'll be pulling that up. So, what were you going to say about it?
Well, I think there's a fundamental thing here that we're all talking about, and it's cars. Because you and I, we talk about this all the time. It's all about the car. If you really break it down, it's all about the car. Follow the life of a car to the scrapyard or wherever it ends up. It's all about the car, and we're the ones that are moving it. So, the way I've kind of taken the approach here is I just lay out fundamentals. These are true fundamentals. Car dealers sell cars, and when they sell a car, they have to replace it. So where do they replace it? How do they replace it, right? I mean, I've only been in this business for 20 years. Ron's been doing it for 20. Khris is 4. Jay, you're 5, 10, I don't know how long. But
yeah, I'm 5.
So as we're looking at this, it's really basic. It's so simple. And we're all complicating the heck out of it, and technology and online auctions are making it even a little more confusing, fragmented, disruptive, whatever we want to call it. But the reality of it is there's a car, it's born, it gets on a train or a truck, and it goes somewhere. Somebody buys it, drives the wheels off of it, trades it in, and gets another one. So used cars, which is our space primarily, that's what we talk about the most. Guy's going to sell a car. He's got to replace it because I tell guys this in my little presentation speeches, things, coaching deals, whatever it is we do. Here's the reality of it. Do you know you can go into any store in the sales manager's room conference where they have the, let's all get pumped up and sell cars, extreme extravaganza blowout sale? That one?
Yeah! Let's go sell them! This is true. This really happens.
Watch this. There's a chart on a whiteboard, and it's got exactly how many cars they sold today last year.
Absolutely.
Oh,
they wake up every day, and guess what their number one goal is?
Analysis, baby. Charts.
To beat last year.
Yes.
I sold 5 cars on Tuesday last year, 2018. Today I'm going to sell 6. That's my goal today. So my point would be, it's all right here in front of us. It doesn't matter if it's an online auction. It doesn't matter if it's a technology. It doesn't matter. Because I spend a lot of time talking to online auctions, and I'm here to tell you, it's whoever's the best salesman. Period. That's who wins. So what do you got to do to be a good salesman?
Oh, what is this? Wait, what are you doing with your... What are you...
I'm shaking your hand.
Oh, you're shaking hands.
Yeah, I'm shaking hands. I'm handing out
Do
cigars.
people still do that?
Yeah.
They do?
Did you see that video I did today?
Where's the car?
Yeah, do you see all those guys running around?
It's on Uber Eats.
Uber Eats. That's it. So whatever the case may be, however Ron runs it, however Khris runs it, however anybody runs their business, here are the absolute fundamental truths. People buy cars and sell cars, and they need somebody to move them fast. Now. That's it. Pretty simple.
Yeah.
There were a lot of cars in that video you shot.
There were a crap ton, man. There were a ton of cars there.
That's one auction.
That's one in Kansas City, Missouri. There's 2 more after that one.
How many auctions are in the United States like that? A few hundred? 500?
No idea. I wish I knew. Somebody find out.
I know.
There's a lot of Manheims down here in Florida.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
speaking of, it's East Coast. It's getting late.
Yeah, I'm ready to roll.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Yeah.
Jim,
Thanks for having me. I appreciate talking to you guys.
Dude.
Call me tomorrow.
This interview segment roundtable has been awesome. thank you so much for staying up and joining us. Really appreciate it, Khris.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it means a lot. And I think this was great stuff.
You almost missed me, man. I was hanging on by a thread for you.
I know. I'm like, we gotta go. That's my fault.
I got 14-hour days. Remember, I don't have an ELD, so I run them until I get them to where they gotta go.
Yeah, man, I get it. Well, sink a Red Bull for us tomorrow. I appreciate it. I really do.
I will. It was nice meeting everybody. Ty, I'll give you a call tomorrow. Ron, good luck with everything.
Yeah, good luck to you too, buddy. Take care, man.
All right, y'all.
All right, peace out. Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, and that is Chris's Garage. Don't forget to visit Chris's Garage on YouTube. If you know somebody that is looking for a video of how to load the Kaufman Easy 4, Khris has the video, and it's just one of the many resources that we have at our disposal. It's interesting, Ty, we found out, talking with larger fleet managers, owners, VPs, that they don't use YouTube really for anything. And yet, in used car hauling, right, in the used market, so many people daily are finding YouTube to be such a resource. So what's the OEM information resource right now? Is it finished vehicle logistics?
Probably.
Or is it just word of mouth in the office?
It's definitely a you have to know people to get into that group, for sure.
What's your answer to that, Ron?
It's definitely a different circle. There they yeah, now that I'm thinking about it, I'm at a loss here, but it's definitely a different circle. It's like anything else. Depending on the circle you're in, you get to know more and more. And that's not one that I'm in. So I'm wondering what they do to look.
I'm gonna crack that circle, man.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Crack it. I'm gonna crack it.
I'll hold on to your leg when you do it.
And I'll tell you, all right, well, great. And I'll tell you what, is that when we were at AHA, and I saw it was the Georgia Ports Authority presentation, I had an aha moment, by the way, because seeing the map of the port of Colonel Island and learning about where the ships park, where they put the cars, how they're improving the amount of cars they can take, and row shipping, which I've heard before, and all this stuff. I'm thinking, you know what? This is part of the secret of getting in the inner circle, is you've got to know your ports. Newark, Jacksonville, Long Beach, Seattle. You've got to understand where the new cars are coming in via rail. You got your ports, you got your rail, you got your plants, you got the politics of things like the tariffs. Anyways, everything I just said does not really apply to the used market. So they really are, they're totally different. Their inspections are different. The people you're working for might be different. We know that when we were talking to fleets, we got to the point, well, do you do new or used? Because it was one or the other. Most were doing new. I found that really interesting. So
yeah, I remember back in the day, because my family had an exporting business, and we used to export a lot of used vehicles out of the country. And we used to deal with all the maritime, big time, Wilhelmsen Lines, all those big shipping companies. And I remember back then, we're talking about probably 15 years ago, our main resource was Maritime Journal of Commerce for information. I don't know if that still exists in as far as an actual magazine. But the new car market must have those kind of resources.
Well, they do, and they're funded well. Like Finished Vehicle Logistics is a serious, expensive organization with strong resources, but it's also global information. So if you go to automotivelogistics.media, and you will see global news stories. Actually, I was just reading one about European carriers dealing with some of the newer vehicles are larger and heavier, which made me actually think of Tesla. Right? I've asked the Tesla question. Some people were like, it's the same. That's not what I heard about batteries, but whatever. I think they were just trying to make me look bad. Ron?
I hope not.
Oh, man.
No, but
one of the things I learned about Ron tonight is that I already knew, but I'm glad to hear him say it. He's a hustler.
Yeah, Ron, that's what it is. You're a hustler, man.
Is, guys. That's
it's like some other guys.
Stops him.
Yeah, but it's like some of the other guys I've heard in your show. Some of these guys with a lot of knowledge, and I realize these guys are putting in their time. They're putting in, not so much, financial resources, but besides the financial part of it, you have to put in time. Everybody's time is worth money, but sometimes you gotta put that aside and just put the time in. It's frustrating. I know it's frustrating when you first come into this industry, because it is a craft. Okay, you got to know what you're doing. You got to remember you're hauling these cars that sometimes on your truck you're talking about $150,000 to $200,000 every day of freight on there that you're liable for. There's so many responsibilities, liability, so much this and that, so many expenses, DOT, blah blah blah. So it could just be overpowering. But once you put in your time, you figure out what all that means and where the place is for every one of those dynamics, it kind of becomes a little easier to grasp and handle on your own and navigate. Again, it takes time. And what I mean also time is a length of time, 2 years, 3 years. I'm going to be honest with you. All this kind of stuff, especially how fast the industry moves now, you're not going to be breathing really for the first 5 years if you're getting into this industry. 5, 6, 7 years. No, I'm gonna put it close to 10 years really.
Wow.
And it's still at 10 years. You're still not, you're not floating on Easy Street.
That's why Kathleen McCann was saying from United Road. Here we go.
That was great.
Wasn't that a great clip? Gosh, I was like,
that was great.
I was floored when I saw it. I was.
And listen, she's right, and she's totally right also, and also the senses that she said with the numbers regarding of how old their average drivers were now. That number is high as far as age-wise, okay? And nowadays, these drivers for this type of craft, this younger generation, I feel bad saying this, but this is not for them, okay?
Well, that's
this
what
is
she
not,
was saying. I mean,
no, it's not.
Yeah,
it's not for them.
It's for a more seasoned professional.
What I think they're going to eventually have to do,
like you were talking about handshaking, right? There's so many things at play.
Right. What she was saying was so right. They're your represent. They're your rep. They have so many things that these drivers have to worry about. What they're eventually going to have to do at some point, I'm thinking, and I've thought about this before, because they are going to have a lack of these type of drivers that are into this craft, is that they're going to actually have to put an actual school. Okay, just like they have schools for wood making, for this, for that.
Yeah.
That's going to come with some kind of certification that's going to show these drivers, I'm certified, so now I deserve this amount of money if you want to hire me. Okay, they have to come up with something, because like in the old days where you just kind of grew into this, or these, you got to remember also, car hauling industry as a driver, for example, when everything was owned by unions or run by unions, I was in a Teamsters union for 15 years. It was a coveted job. You didn't get it unless somebody retired from it, okay? Because you were making good money. Okay, you had the union backing you up, taking care of everything. And it was one of those things that unless somebody was retiring out or you knew somebody, you were getting in here and you were going to be good. And I was for those 15 years. Oh, man, it was the best gig ever. And I was an owner-operator for Allied, okay? I didn't have to pay my trucking insurance. I didn't have to pay for damages. All my administrative stuff was taken care of. I got paid weekly. And if I had a breakdown, I had the services of the Allied fleet service to help me out. That stuff doesn't exist anymore. And you have all those things hitting you. And man, now that I think about all that stuff, it just stops me in my tracks. To think that stuff is not going to happen again. It's just these poor guys starting out right now. Anybody who starts out now and has to face all that is going to be like, holy shoot, what the hell I just got myself into?
Well, and it's interesting. Actually, that's a comment we've gotten. Is again, I keep coming back to it that I think I've been accused of being a dream killer. And what I like to say is I just want to make sure you don't wake up in a nightmare. All right?
Yeah, well, it's definitely true. It is a nightmare. It is a nightmare, but it could at some point it can become a livable nightmare. Where
livable nightmare.
Yeah, the thing is, like everybody else, unless you grow up knowing what you're going to do and fall into the career and study it and love what you're doing for the rest of your life, that's all great. But I think for the majority of us, that doesn't happen. So this industry right here is one of those that if you put the time and everything into it, it definitely, you're going to know right away it's a nightmare, but you can make something out of it. And there is very good money in this. Okay, some of these guys who come on the show who have fleets, who have consistently been in this for the past 20 years, 25 years. I'm talking mom and pop guys. And I know quite a few around here. And it's because they realized what they need. Even if they themselves were not an expert on a particular task that they needed, they knew who to hire or what to hire to get their job done. Delegation.
I was going to say, that's what keeps bringing people in, is that it is known to many people that you can make pretty good money hauling cars.
Mm-hmm.
As far as if you're a successful business. Now, I'm not saying the guy at the truck stop with the toothpick saying, hey, buddy, you want to make $1 million? You want to see all my hundreds? That's not exactly a mentor.
No, definitely not. You gotta, when you get into this, just like I was saying, this is definitely a craft. This is definitely something now for the future generation. It's gonna be something that somebody wants to learn how to do, from again, like a woodmaker, carpenter, electrician. It's one of those kind of fields. That's the only way they're gonna get new.
A journeyman, right? And they're talking about actually that field. Is probably in a similar situation. But listen, here's what I got to do. I've got to put an end to this madness. This has been a great show and another great roundtable. But I gotta let the people go. I gotta let people move on with their lives for tomorrow. And so Ron, I want to thank you so much for
no problem,
spending
guys.
the
Always
time with
appreciate
us.
it.
All of your input. It's
No
great.
problem.
Healthy debate. In fact, I don't think we're done. I think we need to.
Oh, no.
So we will be
go on.
continued. Yeah, we can go on forever. So here's what we're gonna do, Ron. Is that we're gonna I like to keep mixing it up, but I'm gonna be having you back on in the future, and we'll find the right time. Maybe there'll be another new piece of information, something else, where we will need to continue this quest.
All right.
For
Sounds
who's
good.
right and who's wrong.
Sounds good. I'm definitely there for that.
All right, Ron. Thank you so much for joining the show.
No
Ron.
problem. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. We'll talk soon. Yep, talk soon, guys.
Okay, man.
All right, bye.
See ya. And Ty, let you go, man. Thank you so much. I know you're an early riser, so thanks for all of your hard work, and we'll be in touch with you soon, dude.
Sounds great. Thanks.
Thanks, Ty. All right. Okay. And so let's do this. Let's do, what do we got here? I got display capture, and then I'll end the meeting here. Okay. We'll do that. Okay. And then what we're going to do is, this is the part of the show where it gets kind of wacky because I don't have a crew. Let's do this. Change this camera back. And I'm doing this so I could say goodnight. Oh, no, I don't want to do that. There we go. So I want to say goodnight to you guys properly. And then we'll go ahead and do that. Whoa, back in action. So listen, I really appreciate you guys staying up late with us. I know that Central Time, it's 10 to 11. On the East Coast, it's 10 to midnight. So if you're still with me, I really do appreciate you sticking around, joining the show, joining the live chat. Participating, and if you have a question, if you are working on starting your car hauling business, you can contact Ty. I'm going to put that phone number up here again, 417, you'd think I had it memorized, 483, that's why I got his business card taped to the wall over here, and you can call Ty, and you can also email him, ty@ctsbusiness.com. If you are a new car hauler and you are, in fact, if you're researching brokering, dispatching, if you're a new car shipper, you can contact me. You can send me an email, autotransportintel@gmail.com. Spread the word. Let people know that there is a car hauling news channel. You can send people to Auto Transport Intel if they need to learn car shipping or they're trying to improve their business. Auto Transport Intel is here every Tuesday night. You know, I'm Jay, and I used to be a dispatcher, but now all I do is analyze the car hauling industry, get to learn it more. I'm on the phone, networking, working on the next show. In fact, next week we are going to have Jason Harris is a dealer marketing I'm not entrepreneur. He knows a lot about dealership marketing. This is going to be a different show. We haven't done a show on dealership marketing. So Jason Harris is going to be with us. Also, I believe Trevor of Atomic 6. He is developing new trailer technology, new building materials for trailers. I think he's going to talk about his plans and designs and materials. So that's going to be interesting. Next week is going to be a totally different show. And, you know, I try to mix it up. Last week we had the health insurance helper. If you're looking for health insurance, you definitely want to talk to the health insurance helper. What I really suggest is you want to dive into the video archive on my YouTube channel. Just, you know, go to YouTube, type in Auto Transport Intel. This is actually pretty cool, is that one of the things happening is people are now typing Auto Transport Intel into YouTube search engine. I don't know if it's happening as much on Google, but it is now a search. It's not a highly searchable term, but it is a commonly searched term in YouTube, Auto Transport Intel. And you know, if you type in car hauling, auto transport, vehicle shipping, car transport, car shipping, chances are really good you're going to see some of my videos. I know they're long, but there's so much information to cover. If there's something you want me to talk about in the future, if you have a company, product, or service and you want to be on the show, let me know. Send me an email, autotransportintel@gmail.com. And the goal of this show is just to keep on exploring the galaxy of car hauling. So, listen, man, guys, thank you so much for joining the show. I'm going to fire up the car hauler. I'm going to say goodnight. It means a lot that you spent Tuesday night with me. You guys take care. Be safe out there. Be good to one another. And watch out for the crazies. And I'll see you next Tuesday night. 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central. Thank you so much for tuning in. Peace out, you guys.